Hello, everyone. Oh, happy birthday, Nordy. I hope you're doing well. By coincidence, we are actually starting with a Nordy puzzle. Uh, Not just because it's Nordy's birthday, which I admit I did not know, but also because it is one of the most voted on puzzles in the bucket. Let me pull up the list of voters here. Uh, So, as always, we start with the puzzle in the bucket with the most votes. Today, that is this puzzle by Nordy, uh, whose birthday it is, or was yesterday your birthday, or 2 days ago, or I don't know, some number of days ago. Uh, but this puzzle was voted for by Nordy, Ken, Luda, Crispy, uh, Screaming Ice Cube, Math Pesto, and David. So thank you all for your support. Selena thanks you for voting for a puzzle that is not a grid with arrows, uh, which is, I believe, Selena's favorite style of puzzle. Uh, so we'll get to this in a moment. My plan is that after this puzzle, we're going to continue doing my list of my puzzles. And the next puzzle in that list is Elements of Sudoku, which is the puzzle hunt I made for cracking the cryptic a whole bunch of years ago. So that is going to be a it's going to be the longest of my puzzles, I believe, barring that something goes horribly wrong. But it's something I'm looking forward to talking about because I haven't really gotten to talk too much about it previously, so I think it will be interesting. But in the meantime, let us have a look at Adobe Abode by Nordy. So this is a region sum lines puzzle, and so the way these work is that you look at each line in each box. Hey, Hannah, thank you. Yes, my hair is going to be purple shortly, but at the moment I am enjoying it being this nice blonde color. We have ordered the purple dye. There was some interesting miscommunication about it, but anyway, my hair will be purple soon. But I actually quite like it like this. I think it is. I think it's posh, and I did enjoy the festival. I got my pork chop, which is my favorite part of the festival. Uh, One of my friends is apparently now in charge of the pork chop, so that's also exciting. Uh, but yeah, hey, MicroStudy, hope you're doing well. Uh, Alrighty, so the way these work is that in each region, each color of line, or sorry, each string of cells along a line has the same sum. So these 5 cells have the same sum as these 2 cells, and so on. There's a worth mentioning technicality that doesn't show up on this line at all, but does show up on this line, which is that if you have a line like this that enters a box and then leaves it again, and then comes back, then a thing happens. And so the thing is that the things count separately. So it's mixed over time exactly how this has worked, but the modern sensibilities the modern sensibility is that we do this. Yeah, Selena, that's a very nice way to say it, is that box borders divide blue lines into segments of equal sum. That works. I think the reason why people don't say it that way is that the original way region sum lines worked was not to have it be box borders. And so the original way would have counted all 4 of these together, but Selena's way is sort of the standard way now. It's the way this puzzle works, and yeah, we should probably just say that. Just divides the lines into these things. So yeah, totally stealing that in the future when I have to write down rules for region sum lines. All right. Do we have a recommended bet tree, Nordy, for this puzzle? I will note that this puzzle has the same break-in as every region sumlines puzzle, which is that there are at least 5 cells on here, which means the minimum sum of these is 15, which means these 2 cells and these 2 cells need to sum to at least 15, but also they can sum to at most 17. So these are always from 6, 7, 8, 9 if I do that. Let's see, row 9, column 9 is our bet tree. So we get to do that right away. Now, an interesting thing is that, in fact, actually, these cells, which are a total of 7 cells, they sum to the same as these 4 cells. So 7 cells sum to a minimum of 28, which is very interesting, but not quite pencil mark interesting. I mean, I guess you can like say that these have to be at least 4 or whatever. Maybe I could just say what the total of this is at a minimum. But something of that sort. So the next question that usually comes up is where these digits go in this box. And so can this digit really go on this line? And of course the answer is no, because if this digit were to appear, say, here, we'd be saying that the sum of the other 4 digits is equal to that, which isn't going to work. So this cell goes in one of those 2 places. This cell goes in one of these 2 places. And so on. Okay. Yeah, 28 is interesting, but not quite there. So I guess maybe the way to think about it is what's the minimum sum of these 2 cells? So is it 15 no, it's not 15. It's 13. These sum to at least 13, I think is right. Oh, yeah. I can maybe fix that. There we go. It was just showing that the cropping was just set poorly, so it was just showing the border of the number pad is what was happening, Alima. I think these 2 sum to a minimum of 13. So because these need to sum to at least... Oh, is it 11? Maybe it's 11. Right. Okay. 17 and 28. Right. It's 28 minus 17. Right. The minimum of these is 28 in total, minus the maximum of these is 17. So these sum to at least 11. So 11 and 11 is 22, and 15 is 37. So these sum to at most 8, and so therefore include a 1 and are from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the whole box sums to 45. Sure. None of that is very interesting. Let's see. Okay, so Jay has the point, which is that you can also think about the fact that we actually, because this sum here, which we said is a minimum of 11, because it shows up twice in this box, we run out rapidly if we try and make it much more than 11. If we make it 12, it's okay. If we make it 12, then we force this to be exactly 6 in sum. But if we make it more than 12, then we can't do any better. So this only sums to 11 or 12 is Jay Dyer's point, which is, so it's only 11 or 12, which is interesting. Likewise, this is 15, 16, or 17. But that's okay. Okay, so I don't think any of this is good yet, though. But we're getting there. Jaleb just said something about x plus 2y and x plus y. Yeah, I don't think Jaleb's statement is interesting in and of itself, is it? Because that's all we're saying is exactly what Jaleb said, but we've said all of that before. So I don't think Jaleb's math is anything we haven't already said. I mean, I agree it's correct. But it's all the same numbers, just written differently. Okay, so let's look at that. 12 would break box 5, people are saying. 12 and 12, and so if the, let's see. Hey, Marty, I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to have you, live. Okay. People keep saying 12 plus 12 plus 16, but I have no idea where that's coming from. So we'll figure it out. We'll get there. So so let's try and think about this. So green plus yellow, I know, is at least 28. That I know. And then this is also green, and this is also green, and this is also yellow. So if green is 12, then yellow has to be at least 16. And so 12 and 12 and 16 is 24 and 16. Okay, I see that. That doesn't work. Okay. There's an extra degree of freedom wrapped up in box 6. So this is what's happening. So the minimum of green plus yellow is 28. And so if green is 12, which we've already said green is 11 or 12, if green is 12, then yellow is at least 16. But the problem is that 16 plus 12 plus 12 is 40. And that would mean these would have to sum to at most 5, but they can't. So green can't be 12. Green has to be 11. Okay. So green is 11, and so therefore yellow is 17 in order to make that work. So that means that these are 8, 9, like that. I can get rid of the colors. So that's interesting because this 8, 9 definitely needs to show up in one of these two cells. This 8, 9 needs to show up in one of these two cells, but they could be the same 8, 9. But these could be an 8, 9 pair probably. I guess I could figure out the sum of these two cells, can't I? Because this sums to 11 and 17 is 28. So yeah, this sums to exactly 28. And so these two sum to exactly, these two sum to exactly 17. They are an 8, 9 pair, if I do the math. Okay, so we should immediately do some coloring on these. So we've got that. Just because these needed to sum to 17, so they needed to be an 8, 9 pair. So 11 and 11 and 17 is what? 11 and 11 is 22, and 17 is 39. So these are 1, 2, 3. Because the 11 and 11 and 17 is 39. So these do need to add to 6. Hopefully it was a good 3 days of watching people talk about data, Logan. I, of course, know the 1 is over here. Well, I mean, what Ron is saying is I know that these are 4, 5, 6, 7 by knowing ways of making 11, but I also know that by the fact that those are the 4 digits left in the box. So these are 4, 5, 6, 7, regardless of which way you want to see it. So take whichever proof that these are 4, 5, 6, 7 that you like the best, and it will get you there. So we've got that. Yeah, I could color dominoes for sums to 11. If I want. How many are there total? There's 2, 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, and 5, 6. So there's 4 flavors of sums to 11, and I don't think it's useful though, because I don't think I know anything other than like this isn't yellow. Oh, right, because these don't involve 8 or 9, so they have to be yellow. Okay, got it. Okay, that's the point, is that 2 of the colors of ways to make 11 involve 8 or 9, and none of these involve 8 or 9. That's the point. And so, therefore, the only 2 ways to make 11 without 8 and 9 are yellow and green, so therefore these are green. And likewise, these are green because they also don't involve 8 and 9. And these are yellow because they don't involve 8 or 9. Okay, so we've got lots of sort of coloring junk floating around. So we've got all of that. Okay, so point made. Greens in column 5. This is my favorite step so far. Greens in column 5 both go here. So what do greens go with on a line that sums to 17? The greens go with a 6. So there's definitely a 6 on this line, although I don't think that does anything. I thought it was going to do something, but I don't think it did anything. Let's see. Right. The point is that the green isn't 6. The point is, right. This is 2 greens and a 6, and therefore the 6 isn't green. So therefore, the green is 4, 7, and yellow is 5, 6. So we get all of that. Now, if one of these were green, they would both be green. So therefore, since that one's not green, that one's not green either. So these are both green. Those are a 4-7 pair. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some yellows floating around over here. Probably I know what... Oh, I already do know what the 17 sum is. Never mind. Oh, right. We get a 5 dance because of the 6 looking up at the 5. Got it. Okay, yeah, so this is a 5. And so we get to do our 5 dance. Ba-boop-ba-doo. Wah. Ba-doop-ba-doo. Wah. Ba-doop-ba-doo. Wah. Ba-doop-ba-doo. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. So we get a 6 there. Yeah, the real-time Zach is very exciting. Oh, Nicholas has gifted 5 memberships. Very exciting. Let's see who gets them. Lakia gets a membership. Emily gets a membership. Ace of Spades gets a membership. Riff Clown gets a membership. John gets a membership. Let's get a donation dance for Nicholas. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Nicholas. Thank you, and welcome to all the new members. So as a member, you can use the Zach emotes now. If someone in chat will explain to you how to use the Zach emotes, then you can learn all about you can use your fancy Zach emotes. So this is 4, 6, 7. So welcome everyone. Yeah, Nicholas got one from Danita the other day. So paying forward is that. I don't determine anything, Karen. YouTube, I think, randomly distributes the memberships to people who are watching. It might use something like total watch time or something. I don't know. But if there's anything fancy to it, I don't know what it is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so these are only from 1, 2, 3, 5. And this one's certainly not 1 or 2. So the fact that this is a tiny number is very interesting in terms of these. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, of course. Okay. Right. This is the 89X. Dorlier points out. I think it was Dorlier. Yes, Dorlier points out this is 89X. So this is 2 or 3. So that's 2 or 3 as well, because this 2 or 3 goes here, and so that's that 2 or 3. So this can be orange 2 or 3 circle, if you will. Let's see, and I don't know what this total is yet. I know that this total is not very large, whatever it is. I know there's a green 4-7 down here. Let's see. Selena says that this is not green or yellow, which I agree. So it has an 8 or a 9 on it, and that 8 or a 9 is the circle 8-9. And the circle 8-9 goes with a 2 or a 3. I don't know how I know where it is, though. Let's see. Oh, it's because there's a circle 8-9 in this box. Right. There's a circle 8-9 in this box that's just not mentioned, because both of the 8-9s in this box are here. And so in particular, as soon as I see that, these can't be an 8-9 pair, because if these were an 8-9 pair, these would have to be an 8-9 pair, and they visibly aren't. So this cell's always an 8 or a 9 in particular. And so that's not an 8 or a 9. So this is an 8 or a 9. This is a 2 or a 3. And it's the other 2, 3. Because in the perverse world that I have decided to create for myself, it is x89 with circle 2, 3 that sums to 11. And so it is circle 89 with x2, 3 that sums to 11. Which is very unfortunate, but the die has been cast, as they say. D-Web says I can technically change it. I guess I technically can change it if I would like. I can make those X's and this O. We can we'll do our best to fix the timeline. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so these digits are known, right? Or almost known. We've got a 1, we've got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8, 9 over here. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a bunch of junk over here is what that amounts to saying. That was not actually very interesting, unfortunately. Let's see. Five and row 5 and 6. Okay, so the 5 pencil marks are a smart point. So the 5 and in fact, actually, the 5 and the 6 in this box just go here. These are a 5-6 pair. Is Ron's point? These are just a 5-6 pair. There's nowhere else for 5 and 6 in this box, if I am looking at that correctly. So this is the other 1, 2, 3 for the row. Let's see. So speculation on what happens if there's no 8, 9 here. If there's no 8, 9 here, the maximum that this can sum to is 5. Is that a problem if this line sums to something as small as 5? Yes, because it sums to at least a bunch more than that, right? The minimum sum of this line is actually even more than 6. So, because there's a 3-cell piece of this line. So this can't be only from 1, 2, 3. So there has to be a circle 8, 9 here. So this isn't 8 or 9. That is some variation of what chat was seeing. Okay. Now, there can't possibly be an 8 or a 9 on this line, can there? If there's an 8 or a 9 on this line, the minimum sum, I guess I could just make it work. Unfortunately, I can just make it work. Good spot from Anti-Knight. I certainly can't put an 8 or a 9 on this line. If I put an 8 or a 9 on this line, it sums to at least 9, and these numbers are never summing to at least 9. So this is always an 8, 9x. Over here. So we've got that. Let's see. Okay. Circle in box 8. So this is a circle. Good, good, good. Because that's an 8, 9. That's not the X 8, 9. So that's a circle 8, 9. Good. Now, do I need to have an 8, 9 on here? I don't think I necessarily do, as of yet. So this actually is interesting because there aren't that many things this digit can actually be if I take into account everything I know about it. Because I know it's not an 8 or a 9. I know it's not a 5 or a 6 by Sudoku. So Can there be a 7 on this line? I kind of like this being 7, 1 with this being 3, 5, but not 100% sure. Okay. Oh, this can't be 3, 5. That's genius. Okay, that's my favorite observation so far. That's very cool. So I was assuming in my brain that the maximum sum of this line was 8 because I saw that I could make this 3 and 5, but I can't make that 3 and 5 because it would break that cell. That is slick setting. So therefore, the maximum sum is actually 7. So therefore, there's definitely not a 7 on here. So these are from 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the 7 in column 7 is placed. Because the 7 in column 7 now can only go here, because I definitely can't put it there because there's a 4, 7 pair in the box. So we get a bunch of 4s and 7s. That's not a 4 anymore. And this is my... this digit now is a 1, 2, or 3 just by the column because it's not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is a 1, 2, or a 3, which gives me a whole bunch more stuff, which lets me place the 5, 6 over here in fun. Okay, so we've got all of that. I don't think this 5, 6 pair is very interesting, though. Sorry, 5, 6 pair. Let's see. Does orange X go in box 8? I don't think I know anything about that. Let's see. And I don't know which of these is this. This is a 1 circle pair, but I don't know which one. Let's see. 3 in the corner. I love the screen name 3 in the corner. In box 4, the sum for row 5 and 6 must be 12 or 13 just because of these numbers. So it places 7 in row 6, column 2. Right. Okay. So yeah, what if this total is so let's try and convince ourselves that this can't be a 4. Because there's an 8 or a 9 on this line. So if there's an 8 or a 9 on this line, the sum's already at least 9, right? That's right. And it's this 3, 5, right? Right. The good spot to 3 in the corner. So this 3, 5 goes over here with the 8, 9. It's that 3, 5 going with this 8, 9. And so an 8 or a 9 with a 3 or a 5 sums up to at least 11. I'm not getting to at least 11 if I make this a 4. So that's a 7 and that's a 4. And now I can bounce back and say I can't actually have a 5 here, because if I had a 5 here, 5 plus 8 is already more than 6 plus 7. So I can't actually put a 5 here, which means I do put a 3 here, which means that's a 3. And these are a 1, 2 pair. What? Oh, 5 plus 8 is 6 plus 7. You're right. In my brain, it was much larger. I would have preferred if it was larger. It would have been a slick step in the puzzle. 7 plus 6 is 13, I am being told, sadly. Well, that ruins everything. All right. So I guess I should just fill in these digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an 8, 9. So these are a 1, 2, 3, and an 8, 9 up here. Oh, okay. So if this is 1, 2, 3, then that means these are a minimum of 4, 5. Is that a problem? That this is what Meti is pointing out. Don't know though. Oh, sorry, not even 4, 5 because the 4 is gone. So 5, 6 would be the minimum. So yeah, if this is 1, 2, 3, these would be a minimum of 5, 6. Oh, and they can't even be right. This cell is ostensibly marked as 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. So 8, 5 would be 13. Okay, yeah. So this being 3 doesn't work. For a way that is convoluted and messy. This is probably not the intended step because this is ugly. If this was a 3, it would make this 1, 2, 3. Now this cell's a minimum of 8, and this cell's a minimum of 5. That's 13, but the maximum of these two is 12. So I'm sure there's a smarter way. Nordy says something about pencil marking a 6 in the box or something would probably work. But anyway, so the point is that this is a 5. And so there's no 3 over here, no 5 down here. Yeah, so the point is the 6 was always on this line. That's the thing we could have seen that would have made this less horrible. Is because the 6 is always, and the 6 is of course not there. So there's always a 6 on this line. And so if there's a 6, there can't also be an 8 or a 9, because a 6 with an 8 or a 9 is already 14 at minimum, and we know this line does not sum to 14. So that in and of itself rules out 3 being here. I have to say, this puzzle's been a lot messier than Nordy puzzles typically are. Let's see. At least sort of in my experience. So there's a 1, 2, 3 triple, chat points out. So this is the other 8, 9. Let's see. So there's an 8, 9 pair up here somewhere. Where's my, oh, there's my other 2, 3. 7 column 4 line is finished. In box 4, what removed the 4? That 4 down there removed the 4, Karen. There was a 4 hiding up there. Let's see. So, yeah, so this is either 13 or 14. Oh, but it can't be 14, I guess, is the point. Because if the sum here was 14, then this would need to be double 7, and that doesn't work. So this needs to be 13, so making that 5, 8, and making this 6 and 5. Oh, I still have a 4 there, Karen, right? I didn't take away a 4 there. So therefore circle is 9. 8, 8, 8. Circle's 9, x is 8, x is 8, x is 8. Let's see, these aren't 8, so they definitely include a 9. Let's see. So therefore x is 3, because those are supposed to add to 11. Circle is 2. You can get rid of all of these now. There's no 3s here, no 3 here, no 2 here, no 3s there. No 2 there. Oh yeah, this is certainly not 1. We can certainly mark if we want. Let's see. All right, so we know what digits are on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 1, 3, 6. 1, 3, and 6 is 10. So it makes this a 1, 9, makes this a 2. This is a 10 domino, and it's only got one option, which is 4, 6, because it's not 1, 9, 3, 7, or 2, 8. So this is a 4, 6. So that I'm sure does something. It rules 6 out of this cell because we've accounted for the 6s here. So no 6 there. So we have a 6 there. Oops. So we have our 6s here. Okay, so we've got our 1, 3 pair. We know one of those is a 2, but that's already pencil marked as not 2. These can't be a 1, 2 pair anymore, because if these were a 1, 2 pair, these would have to be a 1, 2 pair, and it would break that cell. So that's not a 3, because I need there to be a 3 here, for sure. I don't know that helps me even in a little bit. Let's see. People suggesting I should ask myself what the sum to 13 is. So it's not 6, 7, it's not 5, 8. So these have to be 4, 9 is the only way that it's going to work. Yep, agree. And the 4, 6 looks down and sorts out the 9 and the 4, which sorts out the 1 and the 9. It means these aren't 4s. Means there's a 9 exactly there by Sudoku. There's a 9 exactly there by Sudoku. Is that 9 9s? That is 9 9s. So I keep trying to place 6 in this box, but there's already a 4, 6 pair in this box, so I'm not going to successfully place a 6 in this box. Let's see. Okay, so this pair also needs to add to 13, and it's not 4, 9, and it's not 5, 8. So these need to be, oh, it's not 6, 7. Uh-oh. I feel like I just proved that, oh, it's a 3-cell sum. It's a 3-cell sum. There we go. Okay, yes. I had just proved that there's no way to make this sum to 13, but that's because these 3 add to 13. Which explains why I was having issues. Let's see. So yeah, there's a weird virtual 1, 3 pair here going on. So these aren't 1 or 3. I don't know if I really want to pencil mark that, but I guess I will. So this is only 2 or 8 for whatever it is worth. Oh, but it's an 8, Chad is pointing out just by Sudoku, because I had to put an 8 in this box somewhere. So let's fill in this quadruple. Oh, there's also a 4 in the column already because of this 4, 6 pair. So that is a 2 or a 7. So one of these two is 7. Where is the 4 in box 3? It's there or there. Let's see. Nicholas suggesting I pencil mark these, and remember they're not 6. So if I use a 7, this line is going for 13. So I would have to use 7 and 2 things that added to 6, which would be 7, 5, 1. If I don't use a 7, then it just doesn't work. Because if I don't use a 7, these two add to 7, and then I need this to be a 6, but it can't be. So I have to use the 7, which makes this a 2. which then makes this a 4-1, which makes that a 3-1, makes that a 3. These are a 5-7. That's a 1 in order to make that work. That's a 3-5 pair. That makes that a 2. Let's see. None of these are 5 or 7. Let's see. These aren't 3 or 6. 7 and 1, 4 and 7, 6 and 4, 5 and 6. Oops. 3 and 5. Well, chat finds lots of unintended deductions, Nordy. That is just the price of having a bunch of people look at the puzzle, is that people will see things that you did not ever see. Okay, so let's see. So that's not a 2. That's not a 1. That's not a... Neither of these are 2. That's not a 4. Okay, so these are a 1-3 pair. So therefore, these are a 1-3 pair. 2, 6, 8, 3, 5, 8, 7, 5. But Garion will find deductions that are unintended, but that you wish were intended, because Garion's deductions are almost always very elegant things, unless it is a random naked single, but that I would never have seen. 1, 2, 3, and that is a 4. 69 minutes, 68 solves. So close to a double 69 there. Nice puzzle. This is not really my style of Region Sumlines puzzle, if I'm honest, but I admire the setting here. There's a lot of really neat stuff going on. The stuff with the 11s was quite pretty. There's one step. Oh, this part was my favorite part. Was the green domino ends up on this line with a 6, and therefore green isn't 6. And so therefore green was 4-7. I really liked that. That was super elegant. Yeah, there was a lot of sort of neat stuff, but that step in particular was a really neat payoff for everything that was going on over here. Let's see. And there was a lot of sort of like tracking where the 8s and 9s had to go that was interesting. There's a lot to commend in this puzzle, even if it was a little mathier than I usually nibble at. Alrighty. I am going to take a real quick break and then be back in just a moment. So I will see you in just a second. Be right back. Alrighty, welcome back. There we go. We have this was the correct camera. There is a camera setting that Tristan made named Elements of Sudoku, but surprisingly, that was not the camera setting I was meant to use. This is Elements of Sudoku. So this is a puzzle hunt thing that I made. Why are these letters not showing up? Or are these letters? Because they're supposed to be letters showing up here. Let me see if I reload if they do. Nope, they don't. So we have this. So anyway, so this is a crazy, weird, insane puzzle hunt thing that I made some time ago. I have been going through and going through my old puzzles, sort of like one every other stream or so, and talking about them and doing them and looking at them and seeing how I find them to continue to exist over time. So let us have a look at this. Okay. So first of all, if you pop up the instructions here, the instructions are that there aren't instructions. I confirm only two things in the instructions: that each cell of the 6x6 grids needs to be filled with a single digit, and that the solution is what goes in the question marks at the bottom. So one thing I'll say right away that stands out to just about everyone who has attempted this puzzle. Microstudy says this is a Penpa bug. Yeah, it worked at the time. One thing I'll say that I love right away about this, and I'll get into exactly how I designed this puzzle more over time, because sort of this puzzle had to be reverse engineered somewhat to make this work. But I really like the fact that the solution code is clearly 4 numbers, and the puzzle has 6 grids. So therefore, it is a complete mystery as to how exactly that is supposed to work. Let's see. Okay, so I can put down a bet tree. Let's see. Oh, does MicroStudy have a secret? Highlight some random cells with a green surface. Okay, let's turn on surface. So like if I highlight, weird, that didn't seem to do anything to make the letters appear. Well, perhaps someone who's looking at this can tell me what the letters are and I can write them in number mode, because I think the only thing that's not showing up is the letters that are supposed to be there. I don't know why. There's supposed to be letters on each of these arrows, and for whatever reason in Penpa, half of them are showing up and half of them aren't. This is because this puzzle is old, and I don't think Penpa is maintained with the idea that things that are old will work. So let's see. So I will just put in, I'll put in an I here in green. Let's see, actually, maybe I can put it in blue. Will it work better if I put it in blue? I don't need to put in that one. I. So somehow it's exactly the letter I not appearing for whatever reason. So yeah, like real paper, they crumble over time. That's very possible. So yeah, so these are I's. That was given in the puzzle. Okay. But yeah, so it's just that, yes, somehow the letter I exactly here. Yeah, these are N's. These are N's. Yeah, so it is INNLII. So we have all of that. Okay, so the goal here, and this was sort of set up almost as an homage, I mean, literally as an homage to the game The Witness, which is my favorite game of all time, which is a puzzle game where you have to figure out sort of what the rules are to the game as you play it. Simon and Mark did not solve this on their Patreon. If they did, I never saw it, Tristan. I do not think Simon and Mark solved this on their Patreon. This is posted on Patreon, but I don't think a solution video ever appeared. So I think this is going to be the first video solution of this puzzle, which will also feature lots of commentary from me on why I did what I did. So it was a very interesting game design thing to sort of figure out, like, okay, how much do I have to give so that people can actually figure out what's going on without sort of giving too much. And so this is the puzzle I will say I've had tested the most, because I tested it, and what I found was everything I intended, some solvers figured out, but for every solver there was something that they did not figure out. And so what I did was to slowly sort of add things. So in the original version, it was literally just the 6 grids. There were no arrows. These arrows were a later addition. There were none of these circles on the outside. There was none. This little guide over here was not there. So all of that stuff was added later as a way of saying, sort of like making sure that people could figure out what was actually supposed to be happening. Okay, so let us sort of get into what we can actually infer. So we're given one complete grid here. Yeah, there's 2. Selena's talking about the game Understand. There's 2 games in that series, or 2 games that are sort of that ilk. One is Understand, which I think I did not like, because Understand introduces rules and you figure them out, and then as soon as you introduce them, it changes them without telling you. And then there was one called Insight, maybe, that I did really like. Oh, that's right. I was in the middle of putting down a bet tree, and then I got distracted by the fact that the bet tree is going to be this digit. It is the 2nd digit of the 4th number of the solution code. Good luck. So there's our bet tree all the way down there. So one thing that I did do here, and I did this from the very beginning, is that I provided a guide, a completed grid that features some of the rules. In fact, it might feature all of the rules at least once, but not enough for you to sort of completely figure it out. There's also this sort of cipher element going on here that you can sort of infer. And I've just told you here that U is 8, just to make it crystal clear that what is happening here is that there is a cipher going on and we have to figure this out. So I think the thing that was sort of intended to make this make clear what's going on is that there's sort of a killer cage which looks exactly like a regular killer cage, and the sum is 18 if you just add them together. U is 8, so therefore probably A is 1. And we've got that. And yeah, so several people in chat have correctly guessed that these are thermos that sort of start at this spot and wrap around. Fun fact, originally the clockwise and counterclockwise thermos did not have circles in the middle. They had letters in the middle that indicated whether it was clockwise or counterclockwise, which I will say some people's minds were still good with, and some people's minds just did not sort of register the idea that like maybe the letter indicating it would tell you. And so a lot of people sort of did not figure out that it was a thermo when it wasn't a symbol that suggested that this was an oriented thing. But I will do our digit dance for the 1. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Uh, so the idea was in the original version, by the way, this did not appear here, and this did not appear here. And this did not appear here over in this grid. So the idea was you would actually have to start solving other puzzles to get even the slightest hint as to what the weird thing that was originally a triangle, and I'll talk about that a bit later, what the weird triangle and the weird circle thing meant. Yeah, this circle with a dot on the end is actually it's a built-in Penpa thing. When I was trying to find weird symbols for this, I just went with weird symbols that Penpa had already included. So this is a mean mini sort of thing. So I'll say when I sort of originally came out with this puzzle, as many times has happened, I came out with a puzzle, and Sam Kappelman Lines then told me that mean minis existed, which I did not realize that mean minis existed at the time, but is the same sort of idea. So Karen's asking about this. So this cage sums to 18. I know is 8. So this seems to sum to 18. And if you're uncertain about this cage sums to 11. And in fact, AA would be 1-1. So the AA cage, I think, really makes it sort of feel like we're doing something reasonable. We also have these quasi-X's, except they're U's instead. So in this case, this U says these two digits are supposed to sum to 8. And those two sum to 8. And we have a couple instances just to say that makes sense. And then also the UU here suggests that this thing that looks like a quadruple is really a quadruple, meaning that the digit U has to appear twice in these two cells. So we've got all of that. Yeah, and originally I did not give that U was 8 and just let you completely figure it out, but I wanted to sort of give people a little confirmation that they were on the right track. So now, immediately, this is interesting. If you look at what we have just said, because what we seem to be saying here is that these two digits, if we believe what that seems to mean, these two digits are supposed to sum to 1. And if these two digits are supposed to sum to 1, that means they're going to have to be 0 and 1. They're not going to be able to be anything else. So we'll go ahead and we'll fill in 0, 1 here. Up here. So we've got that as we sort of I do say, actually, in the rules explicitly, each cell needs to be filled with a single digit. So I specifically, even in the rules, told you there are no like double digit numbers or fractions or negative numbers or any of that kind of nonsense going on that we might fear. So if we look at that and we look at our sort of weird swishy thermo thing, it seems to be the case that this has to be a 0 and this has to be a 1. I don't think that's how I originally intended to do this, because I think originally I didn't intend that you would know what these meant, but let's use it now. So, as people noted in chat, these are thermos where the dot tells you where the thermo starts, and then the swirl sort of tells you the pattern. So the 0, 1 go on this thermo in this box, but 0 and 1 are the smallest possible numbers. So that's going to be a 0, and that's going to be a 1. And now, likewise, that's going to be a 0, and that's going to be a 1. Now, let's see. We've got 3 different ways to make C, whatever C is going to be. C had better be one of the digits in this grid, I suppose.
There's nowhere for T.
This is your ultimate chance for the vet tree to be 0. Oh, right. Yeah, right. So yeah, there's a math thing going on over here. Which is that in this puzzle, we have the sum of the digits in the puzzle is 3 times C. But it is also C plus X plus U, and so therefore X plus U is C plus C. Yeah, Tristan might need help getting someplace to put the T for me. I will move that around. So yeah, X plus U, and U I know is 8 for whatever that is worth. So C is definitely in the grid. Yeah, so C is in this grid somewhere. That is definitely true as well. See, I'm trying to figure out why it's row 6, column 2. Right. These two digits also sum to C. Couldn't this be 0C? Is there a reason this can't be 0C? Clover did this and was very mad that I put zeros in here. Yeah, so we've got that. Let's see. These two I know sum to 8. So these are only 2, 6, or 3, 5. I should probably fill that in. 2, 6, 3, 5, because it's not 1, 7. Row 4, 5, column 2 is the same pair, right. So these, so Jay is pointing out some coloring that we can do. So these two digits have to be those two digits. Yes, can you please like the stream? If you've not yet liked the stream, to do that, you just go right below the video where you're watching and click the thumbs up button. It is greatly appreciated because it helps people find the stream who don't otherwise know about it. I don't think the rules specify anything about the cipher. Okay, so, oh, oops, I did not switch out of the mode. There. What goes in row 2, column 3, if row 2, column 4 is a 2? So if this is a 2, that's a 6. And then, oh, right. Sorry, this is at the end of the thermo. Right. So, right. Sorry. I was thinking that this was a really sophisticated point, involving like something about all the math, but actually this is just a digit that is along the fourth along a thermo, so it's not a 2. Okay, I agree with that assessment. And then I put a 6 there in the in the middle of an edge just for funsies, apparently. Okay, yeah, and so C is at least 5 because there's no way the sum of these is anything bigger than that. So C could be 5, 6, 7, or 9. And if you're really nitty, you might say maybe C is also 8, but I think you can prove from this that C is not also 8. let's see. That's true. That was definitely that is definitely a good point, Jaleb. So remember that x plus u is equal to c plus c, and u is even, so therefore x is even. And so x can only be 2, 4, or 6, really, in order to make this work. Quads in grid 5. Yes, that's right. And so that's exactly the spot from Liam. Chat is slowly finding the things that I that as chat finds them, I'm like, oh yeah, that is why I did that here. So these things are quads. So remember, they're telling you what digits appear. So there's an X in one of these digits surrounding this. And so X is even, so it can't be anything other than 2. 3 in the corner asked why I ruled out 0, and that's because these two digits can't sum to 0. That's the only reason I ruled out 0. But in fact, now X is 2 because X has to appear over here. So X is going to be 2. So that's cool. Assuredly, it is not a coincidence that the letters are A, B, C, E, M, O, R, T, U, X. Now, that gives us a 0-2 pair because little used fact, the only way to make a sum to 2 in 2 cells is 0-2. And so, therefore, this is a 1, and this is a 0. So I sort of dance around my these things. So now I have a sum to 8 that doesn't involve a 0 or a 2. For whatever that is worth. So does that tell me C is not 5? Maybe it doesn't quite tell me that yet. It does tell me there's a 2 involved in the R sum, for sure. So one of these is a 2. And so there's a 2 over down here. 2 could only go there if this went 0, 1, but maybe that's possible. Let's see. Why not 2 in the U sum? 2 can go. Oh, sorry. 2 can be in the U sum. Never mind. Sorry, I'm just being silly. But 2 is in the C sum for sure. That's true just by Sudoku. Yeah, sorry, I missed that row 1, column 4 could be a 2. Okay, and so 2C is 2 plus, right, 2C is 2 plus 8. We actually know it now, right? Right. So this C plus C plus C, remember, that's the total of all the digits in this grid. That's also C plus X plus U, but we actually know X and U now. And so X and U is 2C, so X and U is 10, so C is 5. I was young, Micro. We all make our mistakes when we're young. So C is 5. Therefore, the only digits in my grid are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because those are the only digits that can possibly be involved in a sum to 5. And so we can sort of fill in our digits there. So since C is 5, these are a 2, 3 pair. Can get rid of the corner mark. And so now these are a 4 and a something else. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, these are a 4, 5 pair. So therefore, that digit is, by Sudoku, a 3. And that digit's a 5. These are a 1, 4. Okay, that's not a 6, right? And so that's not a 2. Good spot from Nicholas. So these are 3, 5. And so now I'm going to know what R is, because these are a 2 and a 4. And so R is going to be 6. Does that sound right? So R is going to be 6. Moving right along. So right. So now that's right. So this R sum can't be the same as this R sum. So this can't be a 4 because then this would be a 2. So this is a 1. Oops, sorry. So this is a 1 and that's a 5. And that's a 4, just to make it so that I don't repeat digits. Okay, so that was a 5 at the end of the thermo. That's not so exciting. So now 5 in this box goes on this C, so it definitely goes with a 0. So that's a 5 and that's a 0. We need a 2 and a 3 in this box, and they definitely go here and here. We know that there's a 0 in this box, and it definitely goes here. There's a 4 on this thermo, and 4 is the second biggest number, so it goes there. This number just by Sudoku is a 2. This number just by Sudoku is a 1. I don't think anyone in chat has said what the black dot arrow or the black circle arrow things are. I know what they are, but I made the puzzle, so I that part I remember, so I have not spoiled that. I've been waiting for chat to tell me what they are. 0, 1, 2. This is therefore a 3. Over there. Let's see. Okay, and so can I finish this grid, or do I need to just go on with my knowledge of some additional letters that I did not know before? I might just have to go to do that. 5 is placed in row 3. Oh, right. Sorry, this is a. Wait, do I know that 5? 5 is placed in this box, because I have to place 5 in this box, and it's not going part of the way along a thermo. So 5 is placed there, which makes that a 3, and that a 5. Which makes that a 4, and that a 5. That 1 looks down and makes that a 4, and that a 1. Believe it or not, I was much worse at Sudoku when I set this than I am now. This is a 2 or a 3 by the column, which means that this is a 4. This is a 2 or a 3, so it's a 2, and that's a 3. That 2 looks over, so that's a 4, and that's a 2, so that's a 3, and that's a 2, and that's a 2, and that's a 3. Okay, so we finished a grid. So we have all of that. So I can confirm J is correct, by the way, if you are keeping track and you want to know. J is correct about what the black circles are. That is a, this B is 9. Because it's the sum of 4 and 5. We get that. And so And it was set up here so that because you don't need to do this grid until like almost the very end, you don't necessarily have to think too in depth about the black triangles until you've got a lot of them. But the black triangles are indeed telling you the product of the 3 digits that we have pointed at. So this 1, 4, 3, those have a product of 12. Which is AX. And so we actually know both of those. And so that looks good. 2, 3, and 4, their product is 24. So X is 2. That would suggest O is 4. That looks good. B and R, who knows? I guess we know at least that... actually, no, we know all of this. We know that the product is 96. Okay, so knowing the product here is 96 is definitely very helpful in knowing this. So I will say originally there were no arrows. Originally there was just a triangle shape that either pointed up or down. And then the triangle sort of pointed at the cells, but it proved very difficult for a lot of people to figure out exactly how the triangle related to what cells, and it really threw people for a loop, a lot of them. So I ended up with a slightly arrowier version rather than the triangle. The triangle was a direct homage to the triangles in The Witness, by the way. If anyone's played The Witness and messed with the orange triangles and tried to figure out what the orange triangles mean, it is a freaking nightmare. And so it was sort of similar to that, but it proved to be more challenging than was strictly intended. So let's, I guess, fill in the numbers that we know. So these are 60. So T is 0. Let's see. These are 96. We've already got that. These are, and of course, depending on what order you stare at these things and figure these things out, you can get all of these digits and these puzzles in a very different order. Like a lot of people start in this grid because this grid looks the most familiar, and you can certainly do a lot in this grid if you just start there. So this is 24, so O is 4. And so let's see. So maybe that is all the letters that I currently know. Maybe, possibly. Oh, E and M show up around here. So E and M must be, I guess, 6 and something. But let us have a look at this. So is that a CC or an OO or a CO? I think that's a CO. So I think these multiply to be 54. But I think looking down here is, I think, useful. So let's see. So are the letters unique? The letters do work out to be unique, yes. So these are the other two. Would be a big problem if they multiplied to be 55. That's a good point. That is a fantastic point. Where is the EE or the MM? I don't actually see where the letter is, but somewhere there's a thing that means that we can't have something. But yeah, what are our letters left over? 0, 1, 2. We still need a 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7. So these are a 3, 7 pair. Okay. Yeah, so Jays says, so this E cage tells me it can't be 3, because of course you can't make 3 a sum of this many digits. But unfortunately, with zeros involved, you can do that. Let's see. So these digits do add to 8, which is definitely going to mean there's going to be a 0 involved in them, and a 1. That sounds right, Glum Hippo. I would definitely believe that. I got a lot of people to agree to test solve this puzzle. Like anyone who would remotely contemplate helping me, I got to test solve this puzzle. So I appreciate your previous test solving of this puzzle. Uh, so yeah, and the one of these has to be 0 because otherwise I'm not getting a 0 product. Let's see. Uh, Blast from the past. Yeah. I've been like every other stream or so, I've been doing one of my previous puzzles sort of in order so I can go through and see the nightmares that I have created. Uh The AUs here are suggestive that the elements in the title, by the way, if you don't know, AU is the chemical symbol for gold, so it is suggestive that there's something going on with chemicals. Uh uh Yeah, we might want to use math. Using math is probably a good idea in this puzzle. This is certainly mathier than most of the puzzles that I would nowadays do. So, but what MicroStudy is pointing out is that by row 6, we know that the sum of the digits in this grid is 21, which by coincidence is the same as the usual 6 digits in a 6 by 6, except this digit has a 0 in it, so they're not the usual ones. So these sum to 21. So therefore, these sum to 21. But these sum to AC, which is 15, plus U, which is 8. So these sum to 23. And so therefore, this digit is a 2, if I did that correctly. Did I do that correctly? 23 and 21. Yeah, I think this is a 2, I think is what we have just proven. If I did my math correctly. So we've got a 2 here, which means there's a 2 in my U cage. And so the U cage, we now know by knowing all the 4-cell 8 cages, is a 0, 1, 2, 5. So that gives us a whole bunch of digits. So now there's a 1 and a 5 in this R cage by just Sudoku. And so the 1 and the 5 must go with a 0 because R is 6. Jaleb says 0 can never go on product clues except for this nasty one. There might be another of these somewhere, but notice this nightmare is a 0, 0 product. Okay, so AC is 15. So these need to add to 13. So do I know what they are if they add to 13? Maybe I don't yet know what they are. These, though, need to add to 6. So by the row. So that's 15. So these need to add to 6. So they're 1, 5. 0, 2, please. So these aren't 1 or 5. They are 0 or 2. And AU is 18. So these 3 cells sum to 18. Plus 2 is 20. That makes that cell a 1. By Audi math. So that's not a 1. EX product doesn't have a 0. That's true. So that's a 2. And that's a 0. What is EX? So I don't know what EX is. It's 32 or 72 as it currently sits. Let's see. Okay, so now that I have a 0 here, now E can't be 3. Because now if E is 3, we have a huge problem, because now I have to make a cell in 3 without a 0. So that makes E 7, which makes M 3. Makes these 1, 2, 4 now because of the lack of a 0. And therefore, there's a 4 in this grid going there. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 4, and we know what this digit must be in order to make this work. It must be a 9 in order to make this work, so that these really add to 15. There's some stuff going on with this thermo over here, but also that tuple gives me that. So these are a 0, 5, and 9 coming in over here. So this number's the largest along here, so can at least do that. That one's not ever a 0, actually, because the 0 can't go partially along a thermo, so the 0 goes there, which makes that a 5 and that a 9 by our magic of our thermos. So this isn't a 4 and this isn't a 1 by unconventional good living, we could say. Let's see. So I've got all of this. So this AU cage, what is in it? I should probably pencil mark. So, so I should actually write in the numbers in this grid are 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 9. So while I'm doing that, these are not 0, 1, or 2. So these are 4, 5, and 9. And MX is 32. And so because the product is 32, I'm not putting a 5 or a 9 on the arrows. So this is a 4. So as I try and move chat around places that Penpa doesn't want me to see. Okay, so we've got that. Looking like that. Okay, so these two need to multiply together to be 8. And if they're in order to get to 32, and if they're going to multiply together to be 8 in order to make 32, then they have to be 2, 4 in this grid because there's no other option, and the 2 and the 4 have to go in this order. Good spot from Paulfly. This 0 goes on this thermo, so it goes there. By Sudoku, that is a smart spot. EX is what? EX is 72. Okay, so there's probably not a 1 here. In fact, actually, these two need to multiply to be 36, and so it had better be the case that that's a 4 and that's a 9. Or we've got some problems. So that's a 2 and that's a 1. These are by writing in the candidates 1, 2, and 5 is what's left. That one's not a 2. Let's see, that's a 9 just by Sudoku. So that makes that a 5 and that a 9. That makes that a 1 and that a 0 and that a 5 by Sudoku. That makes that a 9 in order to make that work. That makes that a 0 in order to make that work. That's not a 5 anymore. Sorry, I deleted the wrong digit. That's not a... Now I added a digit. That's not a 5. There we go. I successfully did. That's not a 5. AC is 15. So these two need to add to 5 without using a 1. So they're either 0, 5 or 2, 3, but there's not a 3 in this grid. So these have to be 0, 5. There's no other way that this is going to work. So this is going to be a 5 and a 0. Confirming that we in fact got 0 on this. Let's see, AB is 19. So these need to add to 5 as well. And And so if these have to add to 5 as well, it did that right? Yeah, that okay. These need to add to 5 as well, and so they need to be 1 and 4, I think, making that a 1 and making that a 1 and that a 4. 2. Oh, can I just do Sudoku 1 2 0 1 2 4? That's a 5. 0. Uh-oh. I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Row 3, column 2. Oh, row 3, column 2. There we go. Yes. I looked at this and decided that I should do that. Yes. Okay. So there we go. So 2 there. That looks better. 0 1 2. That's a 4. Okay. Second grid done. Okay. Yeah. Whatever should anyone do without Mark and Sven is a point. Okay. So we have our usual quad trick here. So we have our E and R in these two rows lining up so that we have to put our ER here down here. So that is going to make these a 6 7 pair. So we know at least there's a 6 and a 7 in the grid. Because of the existence of 6 7s over there. And now I know that these are going to have to be a 6 7 pair because of this middle quad here now needing a 6 and a 7, which isn't that 6 or 7. Now, it's interesting that there's a 6 or a 7 as the second digit along this thermo, because these numbers are now going to have to be larger than 6 or 7. In fact, they're going to have to be 8, 9, regardless of how it works, because the smallest this digit can be, if it's bigger than 6 or 7, is an 8. So that is an 8, and that is a 9. So we've got a big digit quad. So we've got that. Okay. So now 9 in this box is given because 9 in this box now has to go there. Did I do that right or did I do that wrong? Yeah, 9 has to go there, and now 8 has to go there. So we've got that at least. So there's an 8 along this thermo somewhere, and it's not at the beginning. So it's at the end. And there's a 9 somewhere along here for us to sort out at a later date. Okay, now I should actually just look at what digits do I know are in here just from quads that I've not yet placed anywhere. Is there any? Let's see. Oh, M. There's an M in this grid, so there's a 3 somewhere. Okay, there's a 3 somewhere, and I don't think I know what the other one is. Oh, there's an X. Right, sorry, there's an X. So there's a 2 and a 3. Right, sorry. These are a 2, 3 pair, and I actually know the order because of the thermos. So that's a 2, and that's a 3. So the 3 by Sudoku goes there, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 3. Like that. The 8 and the 9 in this box don't go there. Paul Fly's pointing out, because there wouldn't be enough digits bigger than them. So the 8 and the 9 go here, and they have to go in that order to respect the thermo. Yeah, but by all means, you can be working on the meta puzzle while this is happening. Uh, let's see. 8's over here somewhere. Is this CO? CO is 54, right? I think this is a CO if I read it correctly, although I admit it is not the clearest to me, but I think this is CO, and I don't think a CO arrow can have an 8 on it because 54 is not divisible by 8. So I think the 8 is there by the product, which makes that an 8. Oh, by the way, I should fill in the digits in this are 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let's see. So yeah, 9 over here is going to be in one of these two cells. I don't think I know which yet without thinking about it harder than I'm willing to at the moment. Okay, this is an EB. EB is 7 and 9. So this quad needs a 9. And so that has to be a 9. And so now these two need to multiply to be 6. And in this grid, that means they have to be a 2-3 pair. Oops. In order to make this product work. And so these are a 6-7 pair. Oh, it needs an E still. It still needs an E. So this is a 7. Good point. Good point, Selena. Reading the clue explains the clue. 6 and 7 go down there, which makes that a 6. Seemingly makes this the other 2-3, but this is a thermo, so it goes in that order, which makes that a 3. Which means this can only be a 7, funnily enough, because it needs to be a number between a 3 and an 8, but in this puzzle, that's only 6 and 7, and it's not 6, so that's a 7. And these are a 6 and a 2 by the column. Let's see. EU is an 8 and a 7. So there needs to be a 7 along this quad. It can only go there for multiple reasons. So that's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 6, that's a 7. MR is 36. That's a little bit annoying. So this is 2 or 6. But this can't be a 6, because if this were a 6, I would need to put something between 6 and 7, and in this grid, there's nothing between 6 and 7. So that's a 6, and that's a 2. So now we've got our 2 and 6 left, so that's a 2, and that's a 6. So this needs to be a 9 in order that I get to 36. This needs to be 2, 3, 2, 3, 6. This needs to be a 7 in order to work. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. That's a 9. That's a 2. And this is a 3. It's only extra clued if you correctly guessed what every clue type means in the beginning. Because keep in mind, if you don't immediately see, if you don't have Jay Dyer to immediately see that these are products, then you have to do most of the puzzle without knowing that these are products. And having to do most of the puzzle without these being products, or without maybe knowing that these are thermos until later or whatever, like there's a lot of information that you might find out in different orders that then make some of the clues that are nominally extra clues not extra clues. All right, so I guess next up, we should look at this grid. So I guess the thing I see right away is that these two are the same digit. I don't know if that was intentional. Uh, but my brain now, having spent a lot more time looking at grids with a bunch of arrows in them than I did when I set this, sees that two of the three numbers pointed out by these two things with the same product are the same. Yeah, and so xt is 20. MicroStudy has chosen to ignore the grid. This grid is monstrous, I seem to recall, because this grid was designed to be monstrous, but if you figure out the meta puzzle, you can cheat and use the meta puzzle to solve it instead of using the actual puzzle to solve it, if you are so inclined. So it could be 225, Nicholas, for some of them. Could be 225. Let's see. So let's see. RT is 60. So if there's a 60, there's definitely a 5 on here. But so there's a 5 and then two numbers that multiply to be 12, which I guess there's some options for, unfortunately. BR is 96. That's quite large. That seems like the sort of thing that's going to require some large numbers. If I don't use a 9, can I possibly get to 96 is the question. I don't think so. MR. So I'd like to say at least that 9 has to be in the grid. 96 isn't even divisible by 9. Oh, good point. Good point. 96 is not divisible by 9. In my brain, I was operating under the assumption that that 6 times 9 was 48, which was not correct. But if I don't use 8, then I'm capping out at 6 times 4 times 2, which is assuredly not enough, right? That's only 48. So I definitely need an 8 in the grid for sure. In order to get to 96. There's definitely an 8 in the grid somewhere. And the 8 is... maybe I should figure out what these two are yet. There's a couple options. Because 644 will get me there, unfortunately. AT is 10. XT is 20. So this number is 2 times that number because of the way these triangles work out. Right, so this number is 2 times that number. Therefore, this number, because it divides 20, can only be a 2 or a 4. Let's actually write some pencil marks in. This can only be a 1 or a 2. Because of that, the fact that these multiply to be 10, and these multiply to be that. But TU is 8, right? I don't need a 0 and an 8 product. But you'll notice I did the thing that I always say that no one should do, which I learned from this that no one should do because I watched it throw people off, is that I used a leading 0 in a cipher. Never use a leading 0 in a cipher. It is one of the many horrible things that I have done to people, unfortunately. There's definitely a 2 in here for whatever that is worth. These two definitely involve a 5. Yeah, there's definitely a 5 somewhere. So yeah, so these are from, I suppose I should say, 1 to 5, is what I should write in. Oops. Yeah, maybe like I should have put in some ... clues though, just to make it feel a little bit better. So this digit, funnily enough, is neither 2 nor 5. If that digit's a 2, this digit is a 2. Does that work even? I think so. Unfortunately. Let's see. RT is 60. Oh, but these two don't point at overlapping cells at all. Actually, if this is a 2... Oh, if this is a 2, these are a 1 and a 9. I should just be filling in candidates here. If this is a 2, these need to multiply to 9, so they have to be 1 and 9 because I can't do 3 and 3. If this is a 1, these have to be 2 and 9. So I think these do always involve... Oh, no, that could be 3 and 6. Darn it. Could be 3 and 6. Okay, I'm not going to fill that in because there's too many options. Let's see. TU and MR clues to go. Oh yeah, there we go. There's another pair. That's a good point. So TU is 8. Okay. So this is definitely not a 5 because it's part of a product to 8. Okay. So we finally have a digit in here. Thank you, Medhi. Yes. So yeah, so yes. So that's an easy one. So this is the 5. And so now these two multiply together to be 4. So it had better be the case that that's a 4 and that's a 1. So that's a 1 and that's a 2. And now these multiply together to be 8, right? Because TU is 8. And so therefore these are a 2-4 pair like that. And now MR is 36, and so that needs to be a 9. Now, if we'd only started... if we'd started here, as Medhi had suggested, then we'd have known that the ratio of these two digits was 2 to 9, and we'd have been able to figure out what the 2 to 9 was in order to make that work. Okay. But unfortunately, instead of starting there, we filled in every other clue and contemplated every other clue in the entire grid. So that did not work out super well. That's a 1 by Sudoku. Why would we ever start in the right place? Yeah, that's a good point. It's a well thought out point. Let's see. 9 needs to go in one of these two places. 5 goes in that place. I think this is the digit that I don't know yet, right? That's a 5 for sure. Just by Sudoku. That's a 2 just by Sudoku. So that's a 9 by Sudoku. So that's a 9 by Sudoku. So yeah, these are, I think, the same mystery digit. So I can go ahead and give that the color orange. Okay, and then these include whatever digit I haven't used yet. These include a 4, but I don't know where the 4 is yet. Okay, so 5 in this box does not go on a product to 36, sorry, a product to 96, and does not go on a product to 18. So as MicroStudy points out, that has to be the 5. Now, 5 in this box. 5 could go, unfortunately, on a product there. Right. These two multiply to 9. Thank you. Because the whole product is 18, but that's a 2. This was the good case. Remember I said if this was a 1, we were going to have options, but we don't have options. This is a 2, so these need to be a 1-9 pair, and we know the order of the pair even, which is fabulous. So this 9 goes on one of these. Unfortunately, I think it could go on either. Sadly. Yes. Okay. So this clue is worth noting because these need to multiply together to be 8. So it needs to have a 1 on it because if I don't use if I don't use a 1, I'm getting to too big. So that's a 1. And so these are therefore a 2-4 pair. 2-4. I don't think I know the order yet. Okay, but AX. I do know the order because AX is 10. And so 10 is not divisible by 4. So that's a 2 and that's a 4, which means that's a 5. Oops. Thank you, Penpa. That's a 5. Uh-oh. I screwed this up somehow. What did I do? I have made a poor life choice, apparently. Oh, it's because AX isn't 10. That's the problem. AX is not 10. Fun fact. Okay, so I think these are a 2-4 pair, but AX is actually 12, which means this is either a 3 or a 6. And 3 or 6 is the mystery digit, so this cell is orange. And so that cell's orange. Which places the 4 there that I know exists. Because I need to place orange somewhere. Let's see. So yeah, orange is 3 or 6, yet to be determined. RT is 60. So these either multiply together to be 15 or multiply together to be 30. Either way, one of these is 5, I guess. BR is 96. 96 is not divisible by 9. So Nicholas's point is that the 9 in this box can't go there because BR is 96, which is not divisible by 9. So therefore, that's the 9. So these are an orange and the other one. What is the other one? I don't even know what the other one is yet. Okay, so now this AU has got a 9 in the product, so these two need to multiply to be 2, so that had better be a 1, and that had better be a 2, which means that had better be a 4, which means that had better be a 2, which finally means that orange is 6. Thank you, chat. So now we know the digits in the puzzle are 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9. And the 6 is orange. So this digit is a 4. Okay, this digit is known. It is a 4. Okay, so 4 and 4 multiply together to be 16, and I need to get to 96. So that sounds like I need a 6 there, which should be orange. Which means that my other orange 6 should be there by Sudoku. So this is a 2. 2, 4, 5 goes there. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9 goes there. And we get that grid done. Okay. So oh, I missed a cell? Oh no. What cell did I miss? Oh yeah, I totally missed this cell. Yep, there we go. Poor row 2, column 3 is in shambles. Poor row 2, column 3. It is 2, 4. It's a 5 maybe. I think it's a 5. Okay. So there seemed to be a request that we should solve this grid without using the meta puzzle and then use the meta puzzle afterwards. So that is fine by me, I think. So AU is 18. So everything in this grid is 18. And so there is an AU product. So 3 of these digits multiply to be AU. And all 4 of them sum to be AU. Let's see. Yeah, new coloring puzzle. So yeah, so fun fact, when this was on Cracking the Cryptic's Patreon, I got an email from Mark asking for a solution guide for this grid, because this grid was kind of a mess. Okay, so right. These have to be different because they're in a cage. So they're either 129 or 136. That is a good point. And so if it's 129, then this is a 6. If it's 136, then this is an 8. So I think this digit's always 6 or 8. This is certainly not 1. I think technically it could be a 2. But I don't recall. There's certainly a 1 in the grid and an 8 in the grid. Not 1 by the quad. Right. If this was a 1, right. This can't be 1 or 8 because the 1 and the 8 in this box are on the quad. So this is never a 1 and that's never a 1. So this is always a 1. Good spot to J. So that's good. So that means this quad needs a 1 and that 1 has to go there. Which now means this quad needs a 1, which has to then go there. And so this quad gets a 1 in one of those 2 cells. And so this quad gets a 1 that's there. So 1 in one of these 2 cells. This being a 9 would be a problem for the thermo. So that's not the 9. And so therefore this is not the 2. So now one of these 2 is 8 for sure. Just because of this quad. Oops. Somehow I did not get into the right mode. One of these 2 has to be 8. Because this quad needs an 8. This AU product does not have a 1 in it anymore. And so now it has to be 223 is a good point. And so that has to be the... Oh, wait, no, this could be a 1. Can't this be a 1? Sadly, that could be a 1. Very tragically. We would like to fix that. Interestingly, this can only be a 1 if these are an 8, 9, but who knows? That's probably possible. I don't think this can be a 2 anymore, actually, either. Because this being a 2 would require that to be a 0 and a 1. And so actually the thermo, funnily enough, forces this to be 3, 6, right? I think that's just... I think the thermo actually ruled out both 2 and 9 from this cell, which made these 3, 6, which hopefully makes that an 8. Because otherwise I think we've got problems. Okay, so these are a 3, 6 pair. These numbers need to add to 17, and these numbers need to add to 17. So 8 does not divide 18, Nicholas points out. So 8 is only in one of those 2 cells. I see MicroStudy. I see you chatting. I don't know if chat was down. I'd love to hear your meta puzzle discovery, by the way, Marty. Uh, uh, let's see. So this digit's definitely not 3 or 6. So there's got to be at least 4. Uh, Marty has discovered the way to crack the meta puzzle, which is to use this weird string of digits and convert the lines that have arrows backwards. And so you get, for example, ATOMXC. But if you read that and see ATOMX, you realize that it would be a lot better if that X were an I. But indeed, if you use the arrow with the I, then it turns into atomic. And so this reads across atomic number carbon if you make this work. And so the way that it ends up that we get 4 digits out of this is that the first 2 grids tell you that you're getting the atomic number of, and then the last 4 grids tell you that your what the 4 atomic numbers you're looking up are. And that gives you the question mark, double question mark, double question mark, double question mark. So the thing when I was making this puzzle is I needed to find 10 letters that I could spell out a 6-word message with a 6-word message with just those letters. I'm trying to enter a 6 here and it's not letting me. It lets me enter a 6 there. Why won't it let me enter a 6 on top of the question mark? Seemingly it cannot. Seemingly I can't, so I have to enter it below. But yeah, so I think I ended up using a computer search and Tristan in some combination to like actually figure this out. And so in the original version, you weren't told what letter went in for X. You were just meant to infer that X needed to be replaced with a letter, and in each grid, you could just figure out what the letter had to be, because if you had 5 of the 6 letters, you could certainly figure out what the other one was. But ultimately, that ended up being a little bit of a mystery, and so you also had to infer without the arrows that I was supposed to read row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. The arrows made it a little more clear at least what part you were supposed to look at. It's funny. I remember Grockle solving this puzzle, and when Grockle solved it, he got to the meta puzzle and couldn't solve the meta puzzle, and then said he showed it to his 10-year-old who then solved it in like 5 minutes because they figured out what the meta puzzle was. So anyway, yeah. So MicroStudy asked, "What on earth is going on with this string of letters?" And that's why we have this weird string of letters, is because they're exactly the letters you need in order to spell out enough of these things. I tried a whole bunch of things that it took a while to find sort of that, but before I even started setting the puzzle, I figured out the like, okay, what are the words I'm actually going to spell out to get the solution to the end of this? And so if you use that, you can figure out what element this is supposed to be, and it makes this easier in your life than otherwise. But we won't do it that way. We will we'll be honest citizens. So which one was this one? Sorry, this one's Cobalt. So Cobalt was 27. We'll go ahead and enter. What was this one? This one was let's see, 5C A Oh, this one was carbon. Oh, sorry. Because I can't count. This one was carbon. So this is carbon, cobalt, some unknown element. Cesium. Is this the one that's cesium? C-E-R. Oh, cerium. Cerium. Okay, yeah. If this is 1, there's a 9 in the grid. I agree. Because the only way this is 1 is if these are a 9-8 pair. I'm being told this is 58. I'm going to fill that in while we do that. And AU is 18. Let's see. If this is a 1, I need these two to multiply together to be 18 as well. Could they be the same way? They probably could be the same way, unfortunately. Let's see. Do I know anything about the sum of all the digits in the grid or anything like that that would help me? If 3 was here, it would have to be 0 and 2. That's right. That's true. So if 3 is here, it has to be 0 and 2. Which would put a 0 into this cage. Would make those 8 and 9. Yeah, I remember when I got asked for the solution guide, it took me forever to spot it, and I was panicking that I had made an error or whatever. But then I found it and was like, oh, okay, this is not as horrible as it could be. 8 has 2 spots in box 4. Right, because 8 needs to go here or here. Well, 8, I think I put 7 digits in the puzzle with that 3. Okay, that sounds right. So so was it if this is 3, then I put 8 digits in the puzzle? Okay, so yeah, yeah, that sounds like exactly the sort of deduction that I intended. If this is a 3, then I go 0, 2. So then I've got 0, 2, 1, 3, 6, 8, and that's all the numbers I get. Why did I need a 9 in that universe? Because I think that the point was I needed a 9 in that universe, but I've now lost track of why I needed the 9. Right, 0 in this. Right, if I put a 0 here, it puts a 0 in one of these 2 cages, and if there's a 0 in either of these cages, I need both an 8 and a 9 in order to make it work. And that does not work. Or even in this cage, for that matter, I would need an 8 and a 9. There's a whole bunch of cages where if I put a 0 in them, I'd need an 8 and a 9. And so if I can't put a 0 here with a 3, okay, there we go. I may have excessively complicated this, but anyway, the point is this is not a 3. This is a 6, and that's a 3. And so this can only be a 7, 8, or a 9. In order to make that work. Sadly, I don't think that tells us there's not a 0 in the puzzle, does it? Let's see. So yeah, so that's a 7, 8, or 9. There's got to be a 6 in here somewhere. Hey, J40, how are you doing? Oh, I know there's a 6 in this cage. Maybe that's useful. That sounds like the sort of thing that's going to be useful. There's a 6 and a 789 in this cage. That sounds useful. So the minimum sum of these is 14, which means the maximum of this is 4. And if it, yeah, okay, so so 6 and 8 here. So yeah, 6 and 7 would make this 4, and then 6 and 9 would make this 2. Okay, yeah. All right. So we've got that, and so this 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Excuse me. This 2, 3, 4 goes along here somewhere. Let's see. DWeb somehow knows the sum of all the digits in the puzzle, which I have not yet figured out how we're doing. I know one of these is an 8. At least. Maybe both of these are 8s. So if this is a 1, I still need these to be... And I guess I should fill in. I do know that 1, 3, 6, and 8 are the digits in here. 1, 3, 6, 8 are definitely in the puzzle. So I only have room for 2 more puzzles. Or sorry, 2 more letters. So if this is a 1, I would need these to be 3, 6, or 2, 9. If this is a 2... Oh, this just can't be a 2. Should I just write out what the possibilities are? Maybe I should just write out the possibilities for this. So these numbers all divide 18. So they are definitely from 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. If this was a 9, I would need these two to multiply together to be 2. That's a problem. Because neither of these are 1. Maybe that's the way I should first do this. Neither of these are 1. And so these multiply together to be at least 6. So there's no 6 there. There's no 2 here because those would need to multiply together again to be something that they cannot be. So that one's not a 3 either. Someone will point out. So if this is a 3, then these need to be 2, 3. And if this is a 1, then they need to be 2, 9. For whatever that is worth. Or 3, 6, right. 2, 9 or 3, 6, right. Wait, why isn't row 3, column 4 a 6? Oh, because if this was a 6, these would need to be a 1, 3 pair. So that's never a 6. If this is a 9, these are a 1, 2 pair. That looks okay. If this is a 3, then these are either a 2, 3 or a 1, 6 pair. If this is a 2, then these are a 1, 9 pair. All of those seem legitimate. Let's see. What else can we do? These 2 digits have a pretty large sum because, of course, these 2 digits have the same sum as these 2 digits, and these 2 digits have a minimum sum of 8. I don't know if there's anything I can do with that. Okay, so if this is 3, what goes horribly wrong? If this is 3, then I need these two to sum to what? Then I need these two to sum to 14. But they can't be 6, 8. And there's a problem if they're 5, 9. Right. So there would be no 9. Right. Okay. Wow, that's complicated. Okay. So 3 goes in one of these two places. If the 3 goes here, the 8 goes here. And therefore the largest digit in the puzzle is an 8. But also the 3 going here means these two need to sum to 16, to 14, which is not possible because they'd have to be 5, 9, but they can't be because that would put a 9 into the grid. So the 3 doesn't ever go there. The 3 goes there. So these are the two unknown digits for whatever that is worth. This has to be a 0 or a 2. I guess I don't know which it is. I just know it's a 0 or a 2. Could I possibly put a 0 or a 2 in this cell? Certainly can't put a 0. What if I put a 2? Then I would need these to be a 7, 9 pair. That sounds okay. No, I can't. Right, no. There's a 0 or a 2 in this grid. So that 0 or a 2 in this box, it has to go here. Surface, let us do this one in pink. I claim it has to go there, because if it went here, then 0 would require I make these two add to 18. That's not possible. 2 would require I make these two add to 16. That would require a 7 and a 9. But I have a 0 or a 2. Pink is one of my digits. I don't know what the other one is, but I don't have enough digits to make the others work. So that is my pink 0 or 2. And I've got a pink 0 or 2 in here. So row 6, column 1 is always 8. But 7 or 9. No, this is 8. No, okay, so so 0, 1 would require 8, 9 down here. 2, 1 would require 6, 9, or 7, 8. Right, okay, so this is not 1, 4, 6, 7. That's true. So yeah, so if this is a 4, then these become 6, 7, and that puts too many digits in the puzzle. Good spot. So if this is a 3, these are 6 and 8, which looks okay. If this is a 2, these are 6 and 9. Oh, 0. Right, because the 4 here went with 7. There's no longer 7 in those cells. Good spot. It's of note, these two cells have the same sum as these two cells. Is that interesting? That's true. This is not a 7. Um, uh, I don't know. Uh, Interestingly, this digit in this column only has 2 places it can go. See, Jay says there has to be a 9 in this cage because there's a pink in it, probably. If there's no 9, because of the lack of 7. Because of the lack of the 7. Right. Okay, so now that there's no 7 in the puzzle, if I try and make this cage work without a 7, I can max out the one in the pink at 0, 2, and then the others at an 8 and a 6, but that's still not 18. So there's definitely a 9 in the grid, is a point from J. I'm understanding if pink was 0, these two would have to be the same. Okay, that's definitely a 9. This is an 8-9 pair now for sure. Just to finish off the box. Oh, except the 9 in the cage. Wait, do I know that there has to be an 8 in the cage? Oh, I guess it depends on whether pink is 0 or not, is the point. I know there's a 3 down here, for whatever that is worth. Okay, so yeah, these two add to 9. What combinations are there available? 3, 6, and 1, 8. But I know it's not 1, 8 because... Oh, no, do I know it's not 1, 8? Maybe I'm not 100% sure it's not 1, 8, 9. Right. Okay, so MicroStudy's pointing out these 4 digits are the digits down here. And so does that tell me anything? Right. So if pink is 0, okay, got it. That's very cute. So these digits go here. So these digits add to 18. If pink is 0, MicroStudy points out, that means that this digit and this digit are the same digit. That is super slick. So therefore, pink is not 0. Pink is 2. Pink being 2 means there's a 1 and a 2 and a 9 in this cage. And so if there's a 1, a 2, and a 9, what else is there? A 1, a 2, a 9, and something else, and a 6. So no 8. Also, the 1's already placed. So that's the 9. These are the 2 and the 6. Yes, let's put the numbers in the grid in order. So 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, and we can pinken the 2s while we chew. So that's an 8. That's a 9 in order to make that work. Always happy to help accommodate preferences for orders of things. This isn't a 9 anymore. A 2 or a 3. I now kind of want to go back and read my solution guide and see how I intended this be solved, because I feel like this is not the thing that I envisioned would happen. I don't think it's way off, but I don't think it's exactly what I had in mind. So there's an 8 down here, 2, and a 3. These are a 3-8 pair. And these are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. There's not a 4 in the puzzle, Zeta. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So yes. Well, that's incredibly annoying. Okay, so what will this be? So these two sum to 11. So if this is a 6, so these two add to 7. So this is a 1, 6 as well, which now makes this a 3. Which now makes these a 2, 3, because they need to multiply to be 6. And so that's the 2, and that's the 3. Okay, and so that's a 6 and a 1 and a 6 and a 3 and an 8. Nicholas points out, owing to the 1 there from row 3. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, and that's a 9. That's right. I can also fill in that 6 and 8, and so 6, 8, and 1 sum to 15, so that needs to be a 3. So here we need a 2, and it's got to go there. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, and that's got to be the 9. That's the 9 for this row. 1, 2, 3, 6, and that's an 8. These are 2, 3. These are a 6 and an 8 as well. These are a 1 and a 2, and I actually know the order of the 1 and the 2. So I probably can figure out how to do this now. 1 plus 9 plus 2. I need a 6 here. Making that an 8 and a 6 and an 8. And now we only need the atomic number of whatever this is. Barium indeed. Oh, right. Sorry. 6 and 2. Barium indeed. What is the atomic number of barium? Oh, and I haven't pinkened the 2s right there. That was nearly a catastrophe. 2, 2, 2. The barium is 56. So congratulations to all the 6 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. So sad it's not 50. What element would it have had to be atomic number 50? I can go back and retroactively try and redo the puzzle so that it works out that it's a 0. Tin. I was gonna say I could have made it spell tin across, but I don't think I could have made it spell tin across either. I got so many messages, so many messages from people who got this and then weren't sure if this was the intended answer, or if they were supposed to then do something more with the list of atomic numbers. I I'm not quite sure, but anyway, this is a certainly like one of the most epic of the puzzles I have crafted, because sort of like everything here has to hang together. I'd love to make a new version of this puzzle. Like I would. I have like I'd like to make another of these. You know, it's been a while. It was a lot of fun to make this, even if it was completely insane. Uh, Paul Fly wants a 9x9 version. Uh, but of course it required like this whole like really complicated underlying meta puzzle idea, and I have not come up with other really complicated underlying meta puzzle ideas. The idea that I have come up with for something like this that I've tried to do is I've tried to do something like this where it was these 6x6 grids, and there were like various pieces of clues in the grids that told you information about the other grids, like lots of meta indexing clues where you had to figure out like, oh, this counts the number of evens, or what this like gives you the thing at this grid or whatever. But I could never sort of get it to come together in a way that wasn't like just kind of painful. So that at least so far has yet to appear, but maybe someday I will get a sort of sequel to this puzzle to work, because I am quite proud of how this hangs together, but I think I could make a better version now if I were to sort of start with this idea from scratch. But we shall see. Bye, Peter. Hope you have a good day. But anyway, so yeah, so that is Elements of Sudoku. I will take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll do a puzzle not by me. So see everyone in just a moment. All right, welcome back. We have a 2 to 10th puzzle up next that takes up a lot less screen real estate, so the numbers will be larger for those of you who like that sort of thing. We have here, yeah. So it's we know it's going to involve coloring because it's a 2 to 10th puzzle. Although there was a phase, I believe, where 2 to 10th said, not all of my puzzles have to be coloring puzzles. But from the looks of this grid, we may have gone back to all of the puzzles are coloring puzzles, and I'm here for it. So I'm just going to randomly throw a bet tree down there. So the way this works is that the sum of digits on an X sum to 10, the sum of digits on a V sum to 5, and the black dots are ratios of 2 to 1. And there's no negative constraints of any kind, and where's the 5 that everyone in chat sees? So I'm assuming everyone in chat says they have a digit, so I assume there's a row, column, or box where every digit has to be a 1. Right. So yeah. This could be a 5, right? So you can't have a 5 on a 10 sum without a second 5, which would be a problem. You can't have a 5 on a ratio without a 10 or a 2.5, which would also be a problem. And you can't have a 5 on a sum to 5 without a 0, and this isn't the last puzzle, so we can't do that. So indeed, this is a 5, and so we get to bring out Zach for the 5 dance. Ba-boop-ba-doo. Whoa! Ba-doo-ba-doo. Whoa! Ba-doo-ba-doo. Whoa! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Okay. So I'm always going to write in that V's are 4, 8. No, that V's are from 1, 2, 3, 4 is usually a good idea. So we've got all of that. I think you'll find a pretty good deal of consistency across Zach's dances. Zach has learned his dances well. Yeah, the surplus in column 1 is high, is a good spot. So we know each X has a high and a low. The 9 dance is the only dance that involves front flips, microstudy. Front flips require more flipper action than back flips. And so there's only front flips for the 9 dance. So every X involves a high number and a low number. So there's 3 low numbers there, and that's the 4th. So that means that this is a high number. And once you realize it's on a black dot, it probably isn't 7 or 9, which makes this 3 or 4. Yeah, I do look forward to the Sudoku pad extension that adds Zach dancing on top of it. Right. Because the whole column sums to 45, these two need to sum to 10, which means that this is a 2 or a 4, and this is a 1 or a 3. And if we want, we can sort of color our dominoes. So this is one sum to 10. This is another sum to 10. This is another sum to 10. And this is another sum to 10. If we want to try to think about that. I'm not sure if it's immediately, let's see. Okay, no, actually, I know what this one is. This one's orange, because it sees it sees 3 different colors, and there are only 4 ways to sum to 10. So that one is orange. So where does this 1, 3 go in the column? This 1, 3's got to be green or blue. Those are the only options. The X in box 1 now is green. That's correct, because the X in box 1 now can't be blue, yellow, or orange. Fancy. Yep. So that is a green. So this is no longer green or orange. So this can only be yellow or blue. I'm going to mark. So that's also yellow or blue. None of these can be orange either, but I don't know that I want to triple mark them as yellow, blue, or green just yet. This is orange or yellow. I'm willing to mark 2 options. Yes, we have Twototenth in the house. Where's the other orange in column 3? Yes. Beautiful. Right. This digit goes down here, so it also goes up here, which makes this orange, which makes this not orange. It's yellow. Ha! Well done to Ambrose there. Genius. There's a green in one of those 2 cells. That's certainly not yellow, I can tell you. Because if this was yellow, it would be a problem. So the other yellow in this box is there, in fact. Because if this was yellow, the sum of these 2 would be divisible by 3, and 10 isn't. So this is always blue or green. These are a blue-orange pair, I suppose. Blue-orange, if you want. Okay. And this is blue or yellow as well. I'm trying to decide if I know whether this yellow 6-8 goes on this dot or not. Would be interesting to know, because it would fix out if this 6-8 actually goes either there or there, and if it goes here, it's huge because it clears up a lot of various nonsensing in the grid. But if it doesn't go there, then I don't know what's happening in the grid. I don't think. Nicholas telling me that this is 2 or a 4. Okay, yes. Okay, very, very smart. So here's Selena's point. Imagine the yellow doesn't go on this dot. Then we're in the hypothetical universe where this cell is... why do I suddenly not have the pen tool enabled? What is wrong with the world? Now I've got to figure out where the pen tool is. 1 moment. Why would you ever disable the pen tool? There we go. Imagine the world where this is the yellow 6-8. Then these cells sum to 35, and so these sum to 10, but every black dot sums to a multiple of 3, so that doesn't work. So in fact, the other yellow is here. So this is a yellow 6-8 with a blue or orange. But it's not with an orange because the orange is in the row. So it's a yellow with a blue, which means these aren't blue. These are green. And now the fact that yellow goes with a blue means that this is blue. And so that's orange. And so we get to clear up all of that. And this is the other blue. So this is the blue 6-8. Sorry, no, this is the blue 3-4. It means this is the blue... God, 6-7. Good Lord. So 3-4, 6-8. My ability to subtract 3-4 from 10 was not the best. Not my proudest moment on stream. So that's a 6-7. That's a 3-4. like a 3-4, like a 3-4. Right. So this is not, so this is a low digit, but Paul Fly points out it's a low digit that's not low yellow, it's not low blue, and it's not low orange. So it's always low green. So this is high green. This is low green. It was supposed to be a Sudoku era version of it, MicroStudy. Blue 3-4 in box 2 goes here. Beautiful, because it's got to go somewhere. If it was a 3-6, then you'll allow it. I will keep that in mind for future copyright infringement. Let's see. So we've got a blue and a yellow. Oh, there's a 5 in this box. I'd forgotten that there are 5s in this puzzle. Probably worth remembering that there are 5s in the puzzle. Yes, this X now, as D-Web points out, is not orange, blue, or green, so it is obligatory yellow, which means that this X is not yellow anymore. It is blue. This X is not yellow or green or blue. So this X is orange, actually, because it sees green and yellow in the column and blue sort of in the row, sort of askew like that. Askance, if you will. The other orange is in one of these two places. So the column 9X is not yellow without using uniqueness. It couldn't be yellow by uniqueness if I only looked at this yellow, but it can't be yellow without using uniqueness by doing that. So it's not yellow, it's not orange, and it's not blue, so it's green. And so now this one is not green or yellow or orange, so it is blue, which means that this is the yellow and this is the blue. And the blue is the 3-4. And the yellow is the 6-8. I did that backwards. This still can't be yellow, so it's orange. Okay, so I know that there's a yellow digit, at least down here. Yes, this is not the other yellow because of that yellow. Good spot. Right, so this is not yellow, so that's the other yellow. Good spot, Michael. And so that's the 5. Okay, this cell sees every yellow digit and every green digit and 5. Oh, and every orange digit. We know what color this cell is just by careful examination. So it's not 5, it's not green or yellow or orange. So this cell is the other blue for the box. And this cell is the other orange for the row. So what is left in this box is green and something. It's 2 greens and a 5, right? So these are 2 greens and a 5. And so these can't both be green, so that's green. And there's a green and a 5 up here. Green and 5 are friends, so they'll get along well. This yellow now goes up there. For whatever it is. Yes, shout out to Casey, as always. Yes, and one of these is a 5. Okay, so now... Right, there's a blue and an orange in here somewhere. And a 5. Box 7X. There's another X. Box 7X is now blue because of the yellow. Good spot. Thank you, Tesseralis. So this is now blue. Although if you want to talk about songs that I do that are way off from what they're actually supposed to be, every time I do the blue song, I'm way off. That's right, the 6-7. Oops. 3-4. 6, 7, 3, 4, 6, 7, 3, 4, 6, 7. Wow, yeah. Blue 3, 4 is placed in column 5, Sayori spots. Yep. And so then placed over here. Uh, right. This is 7 or 9. That's 1, 3. This is 1, 3. That's 7, 9. That's 1, 3. One of these two is the green 1, 3. Yes. All that's left in this column is yellows. Good spot. Coldplay song now. Row 6, column 2 is 6, 8. I agree. Oops. And that goes in box 8 there. So that's 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's a yellow 6, 8 over here for whatever it's worth. It's more of a karaoke puzzle than a coloring puzzle. That is fair. Okay, so this cell, we're investigating Sayori's point. This cell is a naked 5. It's not green or yellow by the box. It's not blue or orange by the column, so it is just a naked 5. Agree. So that's a 5, which makes this green. Makes it a 7, 9. This column is missing another yellow. So now this box is missing a second orange and something else maybe. This is a 5 by the black dottage. That's a beautiful spot, Paul Fly. Yeah, the 5 needed to go somewhere and it wasn't going on a black dot. So we've got all of that. Right. That's not orange because there's both oranges in the column already. So that's orange, which makes that blue. It's the blue 6, 7. Let's see what is missing in this column. We've got still a blue and an orange. So these are a blue-orange pair. Blue-orange betters of the world unite or something. So let's see. Down here, I need a yellow and 2 greens. Yes. The blue that's down here is the blue 6, 7. So this had better not be a 3, because that would put the blue 7 down here. So in fact, blue is 4, 6. Which means that there is a 6 in one of these and a 3 in one of these. And that 3 looks up, which makes blue 4, 6. So that's an 8 and an 8 and a 4 and a 6. And a 2 and an 8 and a 4 and a 6 and a 4 and a 2 and an 8 and a 3 and a 7 and a 3. 6, 4, 6, 2, 8. 4. That's the 3 and the 6. So that 6 is the blue one. And so this is the orange one. Green became 3, 7 because of the V. Yeah, so that's a 4, 6. Who knows what any of that is. Green, though, did become 3, 7, so we can do the 3 7s. So orange, therefore, is the other one. What is orange? Mark knows. Mark does not know. I thought Mark would know what the other ones were. Orange is 1, 9. But that one had better be a 1. Because otherwise it's a 9 and we have problems. That are hard to resolve. There is a tool by Chameleon, so if you have Tamper Monkey installed, it's relatively easy. If you don't, then you have to figure out Tamper Monkey. But there is a mark button that will good lift cells for you with all the candidates. It's by Chameleon, and it is on Chameleon's GitHub page. It is delightful. So yes, it is fabulous. So we've got a few more things. So what does 1 go with? 1 goes with a yellow. 3 is green. And so that is green, just to help sort of exacerbate our coloring. Oh, that's a 2. So that's an 8 and a 2 while we're at it. So that's a 2 by Sudoku. So that's an 8 and a 2. This column is missing a green and a yellow, and the yellow it's missing is an 8. So that's the yellow. That's the green. 8 and... Sorry. The green is a 7. So all of these sort of get filled in. This is apparently a naked 5. Thank you. So this is a 7, which is green. This is a 6, which is blue. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of 2-10th puzzles. That we don't get many 2-10th puzzles anymore, so we have to savor them. But you saw how long I waited to do this one. So there's an 8 somewhere around here. We won't say exactly where because we don't want to give away anything. There is a let's see. There's a 3 up here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, there's a 2 in box 6 is a good point. Okay, so that's a 2. That's a 5. So that's not a 5. What is missing in this column is an orange, a green, and something. Oh, it's 2 oranges and a green is the point. 2 oranges and a green. Yeah, let us mark the remaining cells. Okay, so Mark is telling me that this cell is green, this cell is 5, and that cell is 5. This cell is now green, and that's a 7 and a 3. So this cell is now yellow and is a 2. This cell is now orange. That cell is orange by Mr. Mark. That cell is orange by Mr. Mark. That cell now is not orange, so that one is. This cell is green and therefore is a 7, making that a 9 and a 1 and a 9 and a 3 and a 7 and a 1 and a 9 and a 9 and a 1. And we've got a little bit of tidying to do. Oops, that's not the tidying I wanted to do, in fact. We're going to go ahead and make these purple instead of green. So that we can green all of our 5s appropriately for Casey. And then our last digit is an 8. So congratulations to Ranksk and all fellow 8 enthusiasts of the world, because we have now successfully completed this puzzle. That was lovely as always. Thank you to Twototenth for making another of these. Always delightful. X marks some more black dots as the title. Very nice. Alrighty, I'm going to take a real quick break, and I'll be right back. So if you could like the stream while I'm gone, I'll be back and we'll do another puzzle. So see you shortly. Alrighty, welcome back with a Playmaker puzzle, which combines Chinese whispers and 10 lines. For the rules of this puzzle, I'm going to throw a bet tree there. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, something weird happened with my Sudoku pad links, but that's okay. So along the orange line, they're sort of like anti-whispers. The difference is not allowed to be more than 2. So this could be a 2 or a 3 or a 5 or a 6, just for that. And likewise, this is a 2, a 3, or a 5, or a 6, because it is that different or not that different from 4. And these are 10 lines. And so we have to break them down into pieces that sum to 10. So it could be that all of these sum to 10, or it could be that that piece and that piece sum to 10. And so those are our options for 10 lines. And so like this could be 3 different sums to 10, or whatever that we do. Why don't I have row column labels? Yeah, something screwed up bad with Sudoku Pad, because suddenly nothing works. I don't have my bet tree. The pen tool was off. The row column labels. I don't know. Something catastrophic happened. So let's see. So can I put a 5 along this line is my question. Because if I can't, then I have to put a 5 exactly there. But I think I can. If I do put a 5 on this line, what it forces me to do 3 things. It forces me to do those. Oh, right. This could be a 4 because the difference could be 0. Right. So yeah. So 5s are a bit restricted on 10 lines, but you do get some versatility because you can do 5, 5, or you could do 5 and some little itty bitty digits, as the case may be. Let's see. But yeah, whether this is 2 or 3 is going to make a big difference, I suspect. Okay, so if this were 3 sums to 10, this would be the 4th sum to 10. And then these would be a pair of 5 and the other thing there. In the world where this is actually 3 sums to 10. That's okay. Let's see. I don't think I have that on my settings. Okay. So yeah, so these are, let's see, some people saw it. It's the bottom thing under visual. Where's visual? There we go. I have my tree back. Okay. Success. So yeah, we do have to keep in mind that 10 lines have lots of low numbers on them. Every pair of digits along a 10 line features at least one low number. So that's at least 3 low numbers counted for from this box, just from those cells. So for example, this can't be a 1, because if this were a 1, then that would also be low, and that would be, oh no, sorry, that's already possibly one of the low numbers. Darn it. I guess technically this can't be a 1, because then this would also have to be low. But I don't know that I really want to pencil mark that this digit can't be 1. That seems a little bit anemic as a deduction, as far as those things go. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let's write out the hypothetical. Okay, that's terrible. We're gonna do it in ketchup instead of mustard. If I make this 3 different lines, then the point is this now. And thank you, Yabravan, for pointing this out. This becomes the 4th 10 line type. Or sorry, the 4th 2-cell 10 sum if I do this. Oh, thank you. We get a donation from David. $10 for constantly devoting your time on a weekly basis. Best entertainment out there, and I can never get enough. Entire community has my gratitude. Thank you, David. Let's get you a donation dance. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your generosity around the stream. All right. So Yabravan spotted the problem, which is that in this universe, this cell has become the 5, and this cell has become blue. But now this cell needs to be blue, and it can't be because it puts 3 blues in the column. So, in fact, actually, I was saying out loud what would happen, and I was half a step behind where it was going to break if I just looked ahead. So, in fact, actually, the break in this line is actually in the middle, and this actually sums to only 20. Which means that there are 2 low digits here, because if you don't have 2 low digits, you can't make a 3-cell 10 sum. There's a low digit here and a low digit here. And that's all 4 low digits, which means that these digits are all at least 5. Okay. And so, again, just to say that slower, I need 2 digits out of 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to get 3 numbers to sum to 10. If I only use 1, then I'm already at least at 1, 5, 6, which is too much. Likewise, there's 2 of them here. I contend one of them is here. But one of them is still here. And then I need one of my 2 things, because this is definitely a 2-cell 10 sum. One of these is 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all of them. So all of these numbers are more than that. And that one, as Nicholas says, is definitely not that. And it's not a 4 either, so that's not a 6 either. So this number is at least 7, actually. And so this number... And this number can't be 5, actually. So this number is from 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the low number on this 10 line. And then this number can only go down to 5 or so. It is true. This is 2 10s, Todd points out, because I have a low digit here. The only way I get a 4-cell 10 line all contained in a box that's 1 10 sum is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this definitely is not that. Okay. It is of Chinese heritage, apparently, Jays. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure, but they're called Chinese whispers usually. Although usually in my mind they're sort of like a cotton candy pink, whereas these are orange. I also do not know if this nomenclature has culturally insensitive roots. I somewhat suspect it does, but I don't actually know. So row 6, column 4. It's to be 1 or 2, right? Okay, so this sums to 10, plus these sum to a maximum of 7, 8, 9 would be 24 plus 4. Oh, I guess I couldn't even do 24 plus 4, could I? I could do 24 plus 3 is 27, 37. That means that these always sum to at most 8. So the absolute maximum these sum to is 37. So the minimum these sum to is 8. So this is always a 1 or a 2 only. Agree with that. Let's see. Okay, and it's been pointed out I definitely am not putting an 8 or a 9 on any of these lines. So the 8 and the 9 definitely go here in some capacity. Yeah, there's only one way to make a 3-cell 10 sum without a 1, which is this 2, 3, 5. Right, this can't be a 6 is the way to parse that, because if this were a 6, these would both have to be 8. That's not going to work. So this is never a 6. And so this is never a 5 either, because if this was a 5, then I could go up to 7, but that's never going to get me both 8, 9. So that's not a 5. So 5 does actually go on one of these. Yeah, right. This is not 4 now. Okay, so 4 goes in one of these two, and 4 is tricky because 4 only goes in 4, 1, 5. So one of these two is 4, 1, 5. So yeah, so there's a 4, 5 in here somewhere. So if 6 is on a line, it only goes with 6, 1, 3. Couldn't this be 1? And have this be 2, 3, 5, and this be... I guess the problem is then this would be 1, 4, 5. That's a little messy, but I agree. If this is a 1, then I obligate this to be 2, 3, 5 because it's the only way to do it. But now this can't be 2, 3, 5. And so it would need to have a 1, but this would be 4, 5, and that doesn't work because I've repeated the 5. So this is never a 1. That's never the 9. Uh, for whatever that is worth. Uh, right. Okay, so that's a cute spot. So this digit definitely also shows up in this 10 sum because these need to sum to 20, so they need to repeat. That's the only digit that can repeat. So that digit is one of those two. And so this digit is just exiled from this entire line. Uh uh that is worth noting. Uh Okay, so if this is 6, this has to go exactly 6, 8, 9, and 2. 6, 8, 9, and 2 is 25, which would make these add to 20 already without that. So I don't think this can be a 6. Did I do that right? 6, 8, 9 is 23, plus 2 is 25. Yep, it doesn't work. So yeah, if you just fill in all the digits in your head, if this is a 6, it doesn't work. So these are actually a 7, 8, 9 triple. Okay, so and so the point is Michael has the correct way to look at this. The only way to make 10 and 3 without a 1 is 2, 3, 5. However, this digit, we've said, because that digit repeats up here somewhere, this digit doesn't appear in any of them, which means there's a 1 on both of these lines, which in particular means there's a 1 here, which gets us our digit dance. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Much appreciated. So that is a 1. These two are not 2, 7 or not 2, 7 or 1, 8. So they're 3, 6 or 4, 5. Okay, and this is also right. And this one also is 1 with a 3, 6 or a 4, 5. So there's a so this is actually a quintuple. If you look at what has to happen in order to make this work. And so therefore that's not a 3 anymore, that's a 2 and that's an 8. So those are a 7, 9. Means this isn't a 2, it is a 1 or a 3. This isn't a 2 anymore, for whatever that is worth. I do have to put these 3 high digits down here. Annoyingly, that doesn't quite force one of them to go onto this line, I don't think. So this is now a 2-cell 10 sum, because it doesn't feature a 1. So if it was a 3-cell 10 sum, it would be 2, 3, 5, but it doesn't feature a 2 either. So now this is definitively a 2-cell 10 sum. If this were a 3-cell 10 sum, it would have to be 2, 3, 5, but that might be okay. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is amazing how things go when you start sort of mixing things together like this. If this was a 3-cell, because there has to be a 3-cell on here somewhere, unless this is a 5-cell. It's not a 5-cell. This would be 2, 3, 5. And this would have to be 4, 6 exactly. Does that break this cell or something? I don't think so. So yeah, either this is a 3-cell one or this is a 3-cell one. Of course, this being a 3-cell one is infinitely more appealing. Yeah, Nicholas, we know this splits. We don't know how it splits, though. Okay, right. So here's the way to think about this. If this was a 3-cell sum, then these become a 4-6 and a 2-3-5. And so the point for Medhi is then where do 7-8-9 go in this box? They go there, but that has created a 7-8-9 quadruple in the row. So we don't do that. So this is a 2-cell sum, and then this is a 3-cell sum. And this couldn't be a more than 2-cell sum, because if it was a more than 2-cell sum, those would sum to a minimum of 9 as 2, 3, 4 already. And then you'd get more. Oh, absolutely, microstudy. 10 lines are like the weakest clues ever because they just mean absolutely nothing in isolation. And then like you get like a little bit of traction and then they start to slowly give you things. But certainly, yeah, as clue types, they really, really want to give you as close to nothing as it is possible for a human being to give you. A human being or a Sudoku clue, I suppose. Okay, so these digits are involved in a 10 sum, but they could be as high as 8. No, sorry, they could be as high as 7, because I could do 7, 2. But that means I can't put an 8 or a 9 here, which means there's an 8 or a 9 on this line. So one of these two digits is an 8 or a 9, which means that they are all at least 6. Because I need to put 2 8 9s in this row, one of them definitely now has to go over here. And so if one of these is an 8 or a 9, they're both at least 6. Is the conclusion that I get out of that. This digit's at most 5, I suppose I should put. And now the fact that this number's at most 5, because these sum to at least 5, now puts some tension between these two numbers. Because this number's big and this number's small. So this number can't be smaller than 4. Because it would put it too far away. And this number can't be larger than 7, because it would put it too far away. Now, remember, we said one of these has to be 8, 9. So this one's definitely 8 or 9. So this one now is also from 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's not an 8, apparently. Now, the fact that this is 4 or 5 now tells me that these numbers can't be anywhere near as large as 7 or 6. Or even 5, actually, is too big. So these are from 2, 3, 4 only. This 2, 4, 4 would work. And I don't think this one can even be 4, because if this one is 4, then it would make this a 5 and that too big. So that one's never a 4. So this is only able to be a 2 or a 3. If this is also a 2 or a 3... No, that's okay. If this is also a 2 or a 3, I think... Actually, if this is a 4, is that a problem? Well, this is an 8 or a 9. Let me just fill in the easy thing, because remember, we needed 2 8 9s in this row, and that's a 7, because we needed to put a 7 in the row somewhere. And if that's a 7... then this needs to be a 5 because of that, which means these need to be a 2, 3 in order to make that work, which means that these need to be a 4, 5, which means these need to be a not 4, 5, these need to be a 1, 3, 6. Okay, so all of that happens like that. Okay. This is a 6 by Sudoku. Jim is pointing out, which is excellent. Okay. This is not 1, 9, or 2, 8. So this is 3, 7, or 4, 6. I don't necessarily know what I'm marking with that, but sure. I think this could just barely get away with being 8, 2, maybe, possibly. Yes. Where does the 9 go in this row? It's either there or there or there. Right. Sayori has a good point that if this is 9, it makes that a 6, and those aren't far enough away. So that is an 8, and that is a 9, which then lets us... oh, no, not quite. Let's see. So... 7 or 4, 6. Yeah, the... Oh, 8 is just placed by Sudoku here. And so that's a 2, which makes that a 3 and a 2, which then makes this not 3, 7. It's 4, 6, which makes this not 4 or 6. It's 3 or 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are a 5, 7 pair, which sorts out that that's a 9 and that's a 7, which makes that a 6. These can't be that many things. They're certainly not 5. They're 1, 3, or 4. One of them is a 4 for sure. These are not 4 anymore for multiple reasons. Right, okay. Yes, this is a 3 because that's how adding to 10 works. Thank you, Paul Fly. Let's see. Okay, so no 5s on here is interesting. Neither of these is going to have a 5, 5 on it. Yes, 7 in box 1, right? We know this is 2 10 sums, and 7's not up there, so the 7's over here for sure. Don't know how much that does us out of the box, but it might do us some good later. Let's see. Okay, this cell is somewhat restricted in what it can be just by Sudoku. If this were a 9, I would need these to be a 7, 8 pair, with this being a 6, which just maybe works. Particularly, I suppose, if this is really 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is possible. Yeah, we are close to 3,000 subscribers. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, we've been doing well lately, which we're very happy about. So tell your friends that they should subscribe, or grab their phones while they're not looking and subscribe to them to the channel. Either way, either way it counts, and we're happy either way. I'm not saying to grab their credit card and donate to the stream while they're not looking, because I can't ethically suggest that. But row 8, column 7. Wait, what? Oh, C is the whole row 9 line. Got it. Okay, so... And it's not even a given that this is 1, 2, 3, 4 just because it is one line. There are ways to make it one line that's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if this is 1, then these are a 2, 3 pair, and then this is a 4, and that doesn't work. So this is never a 1. I agree with Garion on that. More blank grids with only arrows. Okay, in this version, this is a naked nothing. Okay, so let's see. So if this is a 9, these are an 8, 7 pair. That forces that to be a 6. And so these are 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a problem for this digit because right. Because as soon as all of these are from 1, 2, 3, 4, that one has to be from 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So it's not the case that you can't use. It's not. You can make 4 cell sums to 10 that aren't 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you use 3 different digits of 1, 2, 3, 4 and need an extra digit, the extra digit is always the fourth of 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the thing to note. And so, therefore, this would be a naked nothing. Right. Okay, so this is not a 9. Because in the case that this is a 9, these are forced to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 triple because 1, 2, 3, and 4 add up to 10. And so if I use 3 of them here, this has to be the fourth. Okay, that is the thing I was missing. The thing I was in my head thinking was that I could do stuff like this is a perfectly fine way to fill a 10 line, but not if I know all of these are from 1, 2, 3, 4 already. That's the point. Okay. So so the whisper needs to not be all lows because that would break this, or all highs, because we just said that would break. And so if it's not all lows or all highs, then it's got to have a 4 and a 6 on it because we've got to get over the 5. Paul Fly donates 20 euros and asks if they're allowed to grab their own credit card. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Paul Fly. Let's get you a donation dance. Woohoo! 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 Thank you so much, Paul Fly. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I just want to point out, I did not technically say that you couldn't or shouldn't get your friends credit cards. I only said that I couldn't advise you to do it. But all right, so there's definitely a 4 and a 6 in here is a beautiful, beautiful spot. And that 4, 6 has to go exactly in this column because magic. So that's not a 6 anymore. So this needs to be within 2 of 4 or 6, which I guess all of 2, 3, and 7 technically are. So 4 in box 6 is placed, right? Because that 4, 6 looks up, placing that 4. This is the ultimate, like, knife fighting in a phone booth thing. Jay Dyer makes a donation, 10 pounds, saying this donation from Jay is definitely not MicroStudy hacking her account. Thank you so much, Jay /MicroStudy. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Thank you, MicroStudy, as well, for any part you may have had in the donations. Uh, so yeah, where is 8 going in box 9 now is a good question, I think, because 8's not going there. So 8's going in one of these places, but a bunch of those places are very problematic. Namely, this place would bait me into putting a 2 here, or 2 1s, both of which are a problem. And this place would also bait me into putting a 2 or 2 1s here. So that would also be a problem. And so that is going to be the 8. And Jays has become a member. Welcome to being a fan, Jays. Let's get you a fan dance. Woohoo! 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 Waha! Wee! Woohoo! Waha! Wee! Thank you, Jays. Thank you. Woohoo! Waha! Woohoo! Thank you for your generosity, everyone. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And so the question is, which way does this 8 make it sum? And if I put a 2 here, there's a few problems. Which is, one, I have to make both of these cells a 10. And the other of which is it makes Sven really mad. So instead, I have to make the 2 over there, which has now made this a 3 or a 7, just to continue with our problems. So that seems to make this an actual honest 2-cell sum to 10. So this is an actual honest 2-cell sum to 10, but it's not a 5-5. Okay, so this is not 5-5. It's not 2-8. It's not 4-6. So I think this can be 1-9 or 3-7. And if it's 3-7, we know the order that it goes in. Wouldn't I have needed a 10 both there and there? Because this would have needed to be part of a 10 sum as well. Oh, 8-1-1, right? 8-1-1 would have worked. Yeah. Yeah, Jay says that they'd like to see a 20 line puzzle with doublers. So, fun fact, the reason I originally started setting the puzzle that became 20 lines is I was thinking I was going to do 10 lines with doublers, but 10 isn't a good sum to do with doublers, so I did 20 instead. But then after I had sort of set the break-in, I sort of had the puzzle set and was like, oh, I didn't ever use doublers, I guess. And then I was like, okay. But yeah, I've always sort of recorded it as someday I would like to do a 20 lines puzzle with doublers, but I have never sort of gone back to it. I'm going to guess MicroStudy someday is going to set a 100 lines Philomeno. Oh, there's another Playmaker puzzle with 15 lines. Oh, fascinating. I am a sucker for these things. If these are a 1-9 pair, this cell can't be 1. Well, I guess 1 has to go in this box somewhere. But I guess 1 is allowed to go there. There is a 200 celebration. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's just... yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's... 200 line, and it's just a little it's 2 of the cells are connected, and that is your 200 line for the 200th stream, and you've got to figure out how to make it work. Where is row 8 column 6 in box 9? That is a great question. Where is this in box 9? It's surely not there. And so the answer is it can only go there because it can only be 1, 7, or 9. Thank you, Garion. So that is a 7, which makes that a 6 and a 4. And so have those. Okay, that is not a 3. Which of 1 and 9 is within 2 of 7 is a fun exercise to do. So that's a 1. Did try to make a Philomena with a given 200. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. But yeah, if you have not been informed, there is a Stream 200 coming up in the not too distant future, and we are accepting submissions for it. So if you want to make your 200 themed puzzles, or if you want to make a puzzle that's not 200 themed, because I suspect a lot of other people will, by all means, go for it. So yeah, so we've got all kinds of Sudoku nonsense going on now. So if this was a 9, these would have to be 2 8. Uh, uh, let's see. Okay, this can't be a 2 anymore because this is a 6, 7, or 8. In fact, this can't be a 2 or a 3. This can only be a 5 now. So that's a 3. Okay. So that did get us some traction. I just didn't see it right away. So no 5s up there. Those are a 1 3 pair. So those aren't 1 or 3 or 5. Those are a 2 9 pair. 8 is also not close enough. So this is a 6 or a 7. Perhaps if every setter who watches the stream was assigned a different random number, so that instead of getting like 80 puzzles themed around 163, we got, 2 of each or something like that. Yeah, there's some 7 pencil marks in box 1. That is beautiful. So that makes that a 6. Okay. Okay. 1 in box 8. Do I know there's not a 1 on this line, Michael? I'm not sure I know that. Yes, it does do scanning, which makes the world better. No way to make 9 with a 1? Oh wow, right? Because it would. That is slick. That is slick. Okay, so if I decide to make this a whole line, then I need to make 1 here. And the way I would make 1 would be to make a sum to 9, but 1 3 5 and 1 2 6 are the only such things, and I can't do it. So the 1 in this box is not up here. And I also can't do a 1 9 up here in a 2-cell one because that would be the 9. So the 1 in this box is actually in one of these 2 cells, which means that this cell is always a 2 or a 3, which means this isn't a single 9 sum because the only 9 sum would be 2, 3, 4. So this is actually 2 9 sums, making that a 9. And these are 2 8 because it's not 1 9 4 6 or 3 7, which has made that a 3. Now that had better not be the 1 because there's nothing to put there. So that's the 1. And so these digits are some other stuff. Remember, this is not 2 or 8. It is 5 or 6. 6 is too far away from 3 to work. So we've got this. These are not a 4 6 pair. And if this was a 5, these would be a 4 6 pair. So that doesn't work. So this is a 4. I'm sure there's a more elegant way to frame that deduction. It's a 6 and a 4. That 5 6 pair looks up and makes that a 7 and a 5. I get to dump a giant pile of pencil marks up here, which has made this a naked 5 somehow. And so now this has to be 1 line because I have a 4 6 pair in the column. So this 10 line now can't be 2 10 sums because the thing this 4 6 would go with does not have a friend. So we actually get to mark. That's not what I was trying to do. We actually get to mark this line like that. And that means this has to be 1 2 3 4 in order to make that work. So no 7 8s there. So those are 1 2, which makes that a 3. Is that a 1 and a 3? These aren't 2 or 1. That one's not a 5. That one's not a 3, 5, or 6. So that's an 8 9 pair, making that a 7. That 8 9 pair looks down, making that a 2 and an 8. Okay, so now we've got to wash this box with some mark. somehow sounds inappropriate. So I know this one is two lines. So that's a 6. Now that means it has to look like that, which means that's a 4. Like that. So now these two, that could be 2 and 8 or 9 and 1, but 9 and 1 doesn't seem to work. So it has to be 2 and 8, making that a 9 and a 9 and an 8 and a 2 and a 9 and a 7 and a 1 and a 5 and a 5 and a 4. Let us paint this box now with a whole bunch of singles. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 6, 2, 6, 5. And the bet tree is... Oh, sorry, nope. Sorry, I almost made a mistake. Also, I feel like these should have red lines on them. It's slightly redundant, but it feels wrong without them. The bet tree is an 8. Congratulations again, Ranksk. Good stream to be a Ranksk. By the way, if you've not watched my Paradoku video with Ranksk, I put one up where Ranksk and I solved a puzzle where I was doing a Renbon puzzle and Ranksk was doing a killer puzzle, and we were communicating back and forth. And it was a ton of fun. The video is just posted to the channel if you want to go watch that. It was so much fun. We're going to do another one that I believe is going to be by someone in chat. We'll leave it a mystery from that. We may or may not be solving microstudies quadruple instruction lists as each doing 2 people. We'll leave it a mystery whether that is what we're doing or not. But anyway, look forward to that in the future. But if you haven't seen the other one, I think the other one was a lot of fun to watch. All right, do please like the stream if you would, if you have not yet so far. But I feel we have come to a good stopping point for the stream. The next stream will be on Wednesday, so I hope to see more of you around on Wednesday. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. We've gotten to do a lot of cool puzzles today. So thank you very much. It has been a lot of fun hanging out with everyone. Thanks to everyone for supporting the stream. We got a bunch of donations today from Paul Fly and Jay. We have new member Jays. Thank you so much. What time on Wednesday? The same time that today's stream started, which is 4 hours ago. And it will be scheduled on the YouTube channel soon. But yeah, so you can look at that. Microstudy says, thank you for the epic donations that I may or may not have had a hand in. Yes, all right. But if you want to support the stream and you haven't, you can become a member like Jay's. So you can just click the join button down below. That's right. We also got a big donation from Nicholas at the beginning. Let's not forget the big donation from Nicholas at the beginning, giving out the memberships. And David. Yeah, we got a bunch of donations today. Yeah, wow. But thank you so much. But yeah, if you would like to also contribute, you can do super chats or you can click the join button down below. And for as little as $5 a month, you can get the green screen name and the Zach emotes. And if you want to go above that and go above and beyond, you can vote on what puzzle we start with. Yeah, and Sven is streaming. So if you want to go hang out with Sven, by all means, go do that. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Thank you to all my super supporters. David Ratner, Nordy, Franco, Woofer, DDX, Daniel, Willie, Danita, and Nico. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all real soon. Bye for now.